Hello! This time we had music.
We had music last time, but I don't know if I timed it correctly. But people noticed it now. We have music and it's good.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. I've been adding various gacha-related emotes to my own personal emote server on Discord now that I'm a Nitro member. That's been very fun. And of course, we get to talk about how the Arena World Championship is back for all 5 people who've achieved Gladiator so far. Won't that be cool? There's actually stuff to talk about, including spicy tendy stuff. Like, actually spicy tendy stuff. Especially because somebody sent... Oh, dear, I think, like, Dakor put it in work chat about, like, a survey about pricing for tendies that happened in March.
Yes, I can't remember who got that survey, but someone did, and they were like, hey, wouldn't you be interested in, or rather, would you be interested in pre-ordering, say, an expansion or something, if it had some Traders Tendies in Traders Tendies in the bundle? And that was interesting.
Sure was.
But there's another server we were told about, which kind of didn't have anything to do with selling this whatsoever. It was more of a general bits and bobs about what, getting market research in for what genres people are playing, what games people have heard of, stuff like that. There will be that new survey talked about in the news tomorrow when that goes live. Or I think later for patrons members, I believe. So, yes, we have a stream today.
Shocking development.
Yeah, we will Traders Tendrils legally distinct. That's exactly it. When we talk here, we talk about the Tendrils, not the tenders. This is all hypothetical. Hypothetical game monetization design chat.
Yes, legally distinct. No libel. No libel.
None whatsoever. But yes, I think that's ultimately... We will have to talk about it because even though it's likely not going to be as bad as everyone thinks... I like talking about the worst case because then we can point and go, Blizzard, we told you it's bad, don't do it.
Yes, that's it. We can stake our big no. Yeah, which I kind of feel like we have to, because if this did happen, it would straight up be a rotating monthly store.
Sure would.
Like, I know Fortnite's one rotates weekly, but it would essentially be that for WoW, which I don't think we want at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they had introduced it initially going, hello, here's a new rotating store, everyone would have said, go fuck yourselves. But also, okay, well, we understand you're putting this in and we hate it, but there's nothing we can do except rage. But
you know what?
If they Trojan horse it in, that's when you go, oh, you sneaky, hateful sons of bitches.
Yeah, big sneaky. So, you know what? Let's just get straight into this topic, where we do have a very cool graphic to show everybody.
Oh, so we do.
That is totally real and leaked.
I'll bring it up now. Just one moment.
Oh dear, yes. There we go. This is real, 100%, million percent, yes.
This is real, assuming people can see it, because I forgot to check. It should be fine, yes.
Yo, okay, it's not really real, but this is actually based off a real story. And real things that were really data mined. So, yeah, if you head on down, then you can see the actual data mined assets, and they very much are what they look to be, right? They are traders tenders. There we go. And you can see that they're here in in dominations. No, that's what they want to do to you. They're here in denominations that are going up 50 at a time. Now, I did see one comment, I think it was from Taliesin, but the comment was basically like, no store goes up in tiny increments of 50. That's absolutely true. But I think if that was the case, this would likely be the art team just creating many, right? Because the art team don't know what the monetization is going to be. So they will just, output like all that you could need. And you even see, like, similar to so many mobile games, you've got 350 represented by the single, 700 by 3 of them. Hang on, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, and then the larger bundles, right? So it's just like in our little meme image, how it's done in the mobile games. It does look just like that. But again, we have no idea what these are actually going to be used for. Now, the thing is that traders' tenders. God, man, we say tendy by default now that it's really hard for me to say tender. It's like I have to actually, I have to control F my dictionary and find it.
Yeah, it's the same where I think it was in a video or maybe it was in another stream where I said tendies and people were like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. They're not called tendies. We've just kind of decided to call them that. I guess a portion of the community have done that. I think just to be completely clear, the image here is something that Dakor made just to take the piss a while ago. I think
Yes.
it was a decent while ago now too, a couple months back.
Rather prophetic.
Yeah, so we've no idea if there's going to be any shop like this whatsoever, and I think most people are leaning towards no. It's just that the possibility is there.
Yeah, it's with a very firm, we are watching you.
Mm-hmm.
So these were datamined. Now, the funny thing is, someone's really having backfire in their car.
Yeah.
Anyway, the funny thing about them is that the traders' tenders are actually a battle.net currency. Now, that's just because of how they're implemented.
Yes.
And if you actually look at your account history, like your account transactions, you can see traders. Tendies. You can see the tendies in your account history on BNet. So they've always been like that, likely just to facilitate their limited but account-wide nature.
Yeah.
They didn't want a situation, as an example, where somebody could just make loads of different World of Warcraft accounts underneath their Battle.net account or anything like that. So that is how this currency happens to be implemented. I suppose you think about account-wide currencies and how they rarely happen. It's probably just weird, like, niche cases like this and, like, whatever way they coded up the charges for the new version of the Revival Catalyst. But basically then, what could all of this be? What's going on? What is the context? Well, I think the first bit of important context to talk about is actually the Guardian pack.
Of course, because that's the one bit of context that's different since we last had this like premonition discussion, where now you're like, okay, well, they have set a bit of precedent for monetizing the trading post. Not directly, but in almost as direct a way as you can get without being direct. So this is obviously...
Yeah, so we had the Guardian pack that was thrown onto the store. It's all Medivh themed. This was stated in very small print that it would actually be available at a minimum of 3 months' time on the trading post. And it basically does mean that if somebody purchases this, then they won't have to spend their tendies on it, which then means they'll have more in the month that this comes out. So in a sort of roundabout way, this is buying you, getting the thing, but not having to pay tender, therefore meaning you can spend your tender on other things. And if you look at the most recent month of the store, it's like 5,000 tenders to buy everything, because there's loads of, there's mounts, the pet's expensive, like that sort of polearm thing or whatever it is, it's like 550 or 600. There's just a lot of things and they feel expensive. Which, to many people, the idea that, like, oh, hang on a second, so the tendy load per month is going up, and you're doing this with the store, and now this has been data mined, a lot of people are going to start getting suspicious.
Yeah, I think if you draw the lines, if you put all the dots on a graph and you draw the lines, the end result is them wanting to squeeze more out of you in some capacity. Yep. And obviously you would initially go, oh, well, do you mean playtime? Do you mean subtime? Don't skip a month of your tenders or you lose out. And that's like the comfiest read of, okay, well, if you skip a month, you wanted the tenders for an expensive month coming up soon. Oh, maybe you want to buy Medivh in that case. But it's like, that's the most charitable possible read.
Yeah. You
immediately go, oh, well, you've since added the Guardian set. What are you going to do next time? What's the next time someone comes and says, hey, Ian, could you make a little bit more money, please? Because I
That's
know
how they do it. They
Yeah.
just bust into Ian's office. Ian's just there, transmogging Grugthok, because that's totally what he does at work. He just the money people burst in like, Ian, we need more.
yeah,
Just a little whip. Fucking whip the developers for money.
yeah.
It's totally how it happens.
In this world where that's how it happens, you could imagine someone going, "Hey, Ian, that's a really nice request you put in for extra budget for extra developers. That's really cool and all, but no, you're going to need more money. Then we'll give you whatever request you want, but we need to see more money." Or, it's Activision, so it's likely then just, it's Blizzard, and then you call Activision the bad guy as the boogeyman, which sometimes may be true, sometimes may not be true. Hard to know.
Yeah.
You just drop kicks the door down and goes, "Money now, profit now, and then they have to do this.
That's exactly how they do it, and it's exactly how they sound too.
Yep.
It is funny though. There was a very recent report that I covered for a video that's going up tomorrow about Diablo 4, because there was reports that came out about the team being in a really bad position health-wise. There's actually a follow-up report that is covering some things being significantly better, and one of the delineations there was, the early days of this game were terrible. I was not happy with my team. Now people are sort of more saying, I'm happy with my team. This is good, at least per the sources who spoke to the press. But they all, they draw a very clear line between the team that they work with and the company at large that they work for in all of those.
Difference.
Yeah, in all those cases. So the least likely thing for them to do is to just, not take a... I mean, we've had our starter... we've had our little bread basket, but we haven't been taken to dinner fully yet. So I don't think they're going to go immediately to just having a store full of these, full on like a mobile game. But the idea of a 6 or 12-month subscription bundle coming with some tender, that's one idea. Cosmetic bundles, those appear in the game. The idea that maybe some of those bundles that you buy can contain bonus tender. A returning player bundle for the game, where get your first 3 months or get your first 6 months back in WoW at a discount with a bunch of tender and a mount. Let's go.
Or, recruit a friend even, maybe.
Or recruit a friend.
Yeah, you and your friend both get an extra 1,000
You and
tender
your
if you
friend.
come in. Yeah, friend.
Well, it's you and your friend, but you would always be able to refer your own Battle.net account. Or sorry,
Of course, yeah.
because WoW accounts, you can have multiple in a BNet account because of the way that it was architected. You could just refer multiple WoW accounts under your parent or under your BNet account, right?
Yeah.
So I think with this, you'd have to self-refer on different BNet accounts in order to get the tendies if it worked that way. Obviously, we don't know if it does, but we should go to the recent survey. So this is very relevant now, especially when you consider some data mining. And remember, these were called like store textures. Like the actual, in the file name for those, it was full on a store.
Yeah.
Yes, Bal's Twitter thread. I should take a look at this.
Yeah, I was just saying Bal's from March.
Oh,
this is where the survey came from.
I see. Right. So we got it right. Let's have a look then. So our first thing shown below is a bunch of potential features, content that could be offered as a bundle for the next WoW Modern expansion. So talking about a level boost, toys, traders tender coming in that makes sense.
It is basically all the usual stuff except
Beta
there's
access,
Traders
transmog,
Tender, Traders Tender, which is which will be very new. Beta access, which will be not new, but kind of new because they've done it before. And just there you go. That's what they're going to do. Or that's what they're thinking about doing, rather, I should say.
And some options here. I mean, man, $80, you get a boost, a pet, no toy, no enchant. Oh, but you get beta access. But 500 tender, that's not much.
Yeah, so...
And how would they do it?
Yeah, just for a little bit of, I guess, context, these may seem like completely insane, like, bundles overall. Where, like, why would you sell $50 with a ground mount, a partial set, a toy, 750 tenders, which is more than that, but not have the pet and not have the, why would you get the $70 without the bid access, but the $50 with the bid access? That seems completely insane. But the reason for that is this is how they have this massive scatter shot of like automatic, just here's out of thousands of respondents, if not more, here's all of these different options, and they get to aggregate that data. And by that way, they'd be able to figure out, okay, well, if someone's willing to pay, say, someone's willing to pay $70 to not have beta access and $80 to have beta access, then that implies that beta access is like not is worth that like $10 difference. That's just an example because there's so many different moving parts here, but they'll be able to like get their data out and go, okay, so according to our number crunchers, beta access is worth $5. I know I would say probably closer to 20 in this case, but like a pet is worth $2.50, traders tenders is worth, you know, £1 for 200,
Well, hey.
that kind of thing.
Early access is $20 for 5 days.
Yeah,
Now that means $40 for 10 days.
that's right.
$80 for 20 days.
A year early and you're loaded.
There you go.
That's right.
We've worked it out, folks.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
But
maybe not that.
That's fundamentally what this is kind of trying to figure this stuff out. But it does show they're going to try to sell traders tender and bid access.
Oh, there's
no way this doesn't come out as people clicking yes for that for sure. For sure.
So, yes, that's from Tally's stream channel, right? The like clips channel,
Yes,
I
I believe
believe. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with this general sentiment.
Yes.
I agree with. Oh, that's a good Asmon face. Wow. Yeah, shit. People have really got the. We were late. People have got the content out in this. Oh, leaves gamers fuming. Oh no, there's gamer fumes everywhere. Shit, that might be toxic. Josh saying, my guess, they're not straight up inclusion in a shop, but a series of assets made for use in things like multi-item bundles, Prime Gaming drops, pre-purchase bonuses, that kind of thing. The the Prime Gaming stuff, worth noting, they're doing so much more of that.
They're really, really
that could happen.
I don't know if like them and Twitch are really in bed with Amazon handing over tons of money or if it's whatever's going on there, but it's definitely they're making a play for Twitch in a way we haven't seen before, with obviously all of those TCG items going up there for drops. And also there's a drop every time anything happens, there's a drop. Or like, well, I'm getting tired of having to watch Twitch to get, I'm tired of having to put streams in the background, not mute them because that's bad, to put them to the 0.1 volume and then go away for 6 hours and then come back and go, oh yeah, there we go, there's my
It'll be just like,
thing.
well, the WoW account will just tweet, hey everyone, our game director Ian actually just got to work half an hour early to celebrate. We've got a Twitch drop. Mr. GM's in on it instantly. Let's go. Speaking of him, there he is. Oh, he's down a bit. That's shopcurrencyoverlay.blp being our file name, and
Marlon had a different name that was similar. VC shop something.
Yes, virtual currency. Yeah. So that's essentially the situation. Look, we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, if they do it, then that'll be very bad, won't it? It will be a full-on free-to-play game style cosmetic store in the game. Now, certainly, it wouldn't be as egregious as a game like Guild Wars 2. Now, Guild Wars 2 doesn't have a sub fee, but Guild Wars 2 is like, you can get barely any mount skins. It's all on the store. And the way that people get store items is turning gold into gems. Yeah. So it's very much like, imagine everything is WoW token and everything is bought essentially for gold via that. And that is the Guild Wars 2 system that encourages humongo mass farming, which, you know, to me feels really cheap and shitty. It's one of the things I don't like about that game's monetization. Yeah, I don't know. This would be bad. This would be really shit. It'd be a way to just destroy their goodwill.
I mean, that's exactly it, right? It's exactly a thing of, hey, we made this thing that was really cool and nice and you all like it. Fools. You know, literally like setting up a trap for people. Oh, you're having fun and now get your wallet out. And that's kind of that's the frustrating part of if it is this way, if this is what the intent is, it is just dire. And there's a lot of people been like, just don't buy it, just don't buy it, just don't buy it. You know, what's it to you if people are spending like cosmetics or wallets and open the wallet for stuff? And there's so much to say on that. And it's like, you're kind of, in a real libertarian way, you're kind of fundamentally correct. But there is a whole point of, if you don't do it, someone else will. And then the whole game becomes this kind of methodology. And they start to do things like, hey, well, if this is working, then we can push more people towards that. So what if we say mounts sell for 800, tenders around that at the minute or so, it's like 800, 900. What if we put them up a little bit and drive a little bit of profit margin, just a tiny bit? That's the case of if this is a fun mechanic, then no one ever comes in and goes, we have to exploit this. As soon as money's involved, then someone comes in and goes, we have bad incentives to make your life worse, to make you give more money. That's fundamentally it. By existing, which means introducing money, has in almost every situation outside of something like here's a store, this feeds back into the game directly. If it's any other case, it is full on, oh, this is just an avenue for the game to be made worse.
Yeah, and it's like, even
That's
if you
it,
take that like very, libertarian approach of like, oh, whatever, it doesn't impact me, that runs straight into one of the larger problems that political philosophy runs into, which is negative unpriced externalities.
Yep.
Where the impacts of this, you will feel them because of all those bad incentives, stuff like that it creates. So yeah, that's not good. We really hope it doesn't happen. I'd say if they give some of these away in like an expansion bundle, I'm not really going to mind too much.
I'm a little bit.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
no, I don't like it, to be clear. It is purely right. It needs to be decently one-off and specific. So the odd Prime Twitch drop or promotion thing, I think that's like okay, I guess.
I would say
it's not ideal, but
yeah,
hang on.
yeah.
So when it's those like one-off things, then it's just who jumps through the stupid hoop, be it watching Twitch or the Prime thing or getting the collector's edition of the game. If it ended up being the 6-month sub or a 1 year sub giving you more tender, then that is like kind of changing up the baseline of what people are getting for their sub. Especially that would be the case. It's like the overall worst thing, right, is that they make it a really good deal, air quotes, on a subscription, but then they open up the store and the store is a less good deal, but they would make it then so that like buying the big bundle would get you the tenders now instead of slowly per month. So there's a bunch of like really evil stuff that they could do. I think the main thing to like guard against is anything that lets people go like just buy a whole month at once and just like swipe done. That's where it's the most egregious.
Yeah, that's when it gets into less, here's some additional value. Because obviously, like a carrier there says, I think this is all about increasing revenue with sub numbers being so low. And this is some sort of play to go, okay, well, you get a little bit more. Then that's like, okay, well, you're changing the value proposition for subs and subs like that. But I guess your suggestion is where you get to like now, oh, what's that? You're having you didn't get to play all your do all your tasks this month to get your 1,000 tendies, or hey, you really like that, but you haven't had enough because you didn't save. Okay, well, that's introducing like the dark patterns from mobile gaming of, oh, well, what if we like try to hook into your psychology for money directly?
It's actually incredible how fucking moronic so many of the comments in chat are.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys actually mazed Zoomers who are like fucking, 19 years old and don't remember how things used to be?
I mean, unironically, I think that's fundamentally the problem, where
Mazed
it's
Zoomers everywhere?
And as much as people say slippery slope is a fallacy, it's like it's clearly not. You live long enough and you're like, how did we get down here? And you look back and you see the slope and go, we used to be up there. Ah, shit. Why is my back covered in oil? Oh, God. There you go. Well, or water, butter, whatever you want to slide down. It is just the case of we got here through bad things. Like people were talking about Diablo 4.
Do you like how the boot tastes? Like the thing has just got worse for you.
It's
you're getting less. You're introducing bad incentives. Like if this was to be like have extra monetization, and they started putting more things in the store, like increasing the prices or just putting more items on it to the point where like it is more expensive per month, as this month has been, then you're losing by default because of the additional headroom afforded by by people's ability to just buy more tenders.
Yeah,
it's insane. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, how does that boot taste, and how did we breed people to be so fucking spineless and weak?
So not to go too down the route of someone who recently passed away. Not to go too down the route of the political discussion. Consumerism, the hooking of dopaminergic systems to I guess, corporate interests and the abusive marketing and psychology and all of that working completely against anyone's natural form of existence, where it feels good to buy things. Feels good to buy things, and that's basically kind of it. That's how it is.
Remember when the Sparkle Horse happened?
Yeah,
Yes,
I remember.
The TRH video.
Oh, I mean, horses are the perfect way to describe this,
All with horses.
if you're as old as we are, you'll remember the horse armor from Oblivion being the first like shot across the bar of like paid DLC actually landing properly, and it was just some golden horse armor for your horse in Oblivion, and that was a single player game, which obviously you could if you're on PC you could just open a console and cheat. But they're like, hey, would you like to spend a couple? I can't remember, it was like $3.49 or something very cheap. It was obscenely cheap because it was a microtransaction, because they were microtransactions back then. And that was horse armor, right?
You could get like Shivering Isles for the price of a horse in WoW. Shivering Isles, the whole expansion.
Yeah, well, that's...
Do people wonder why you get less things like Shivering Isles now? Because they can just spend fuck all money to make a skin or a mount or whatever, and they just put that out instead.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, where, you know, that's what you would be pay for a bit of horse armor, and you go, well, that is less than a cup of coffee. It probably wasn't back then, because we live in hell, but okay, that was, you know, that's not too much. It's less than the price of lunch. I'll take that. That's okay. And you could see that. I was like, okay, well, that's fine. It's, you know, if you can't afford $3, you know, maybe that's your problem. And that was what people were like kind of, you know, saying at the time and stuff. And then you go to Diablo and you go, Diablo 4, this, you go, there's horse armor. Why is that horse armor? I don't know how much. Is it $20+?
Well, I know that at least like the Wraith Lord is $25. It's $28 worth of credits, but the bundle makes it $25.
Yeah, so it's $25 for your horse armor now. And you go, right, so now I'm not very good at economics, but I don't think we've had 1,000% inflation since 2006. I mean, if you told me yes, I wouldn't be too surprised. But at the same time, it's like you could see how this happens, where it goes there right in of, okay, here's $25. What does that look like if you draw a line? All right, so $2 or whatever it was to $20. What happens in 2040? Are you buying horse armor for $100 on the store? Are you buying a game for $200 and then horse armor for $100? And then people are doing it, and you sat there going, just like, what has happened? How is this?
Yeah.
It's the degradation of people's own fucking self-respect
And people
that causes this.
People need to remember that, like, $70 for a video game, you're complaining about that? Do you know what mobile games make? Do you know what, like, when they can actually get away with stuff, as, you know, Blizzard Entertainment is sort of doing with Diablo Immortal? Example in company.
I actually have a good example for you for that. So, now, to be fair, this isn't purely a mobile game. It is also available on PC and PlayStation consoles. Hoyoverse, right? The people who make Genshin Impact and recently Honkai Star Rail, they made over $2 billion in a year. They made substantially more than the entire PlayStation brand did. And that's off one game, well, 2 games now.
Wait, what?
But yeah, they made
more money than all the PlayStation.
I can't remember if it was more revenue or more profit. I think it was more profit.
Oh,
I think it was more profit.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still like, yeah, it was more worth their while in the end of the day to make one video game and fill it full of, you know, predatory gacha, and then make it good. So everyone's like, oh yeah, well, this is fine. I'm here. Oh, it's okay that people are spending hundreds of dollars on character roles for characters in a game that's not literally single player, but ostensibly single player, in that power doesn't matter to you. It only matters in the grand societal sense.
Yves Guillemot is fucking seething at that. He's like, no! Why do we have to have main characters in our Assassin's Creed? Can we not gacha assassins? Yeah. Oh, they're going to try to do that, I bet.
And then, obviously, there's another person seething who will be Phil Spencer, because Xbox turned down the chance at exclusivity for Genshin Impact. They were like, no, thank you. We don't think that'll be good enough. And then Sony went, how many billion? Okay, we'll have that. So yeah, I think it does go to show that is the profitable thing, which means that's where things are going to go. That's where people are going to move. You're going to go there, and it's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. The more people accept it. And obviously you can't do anything when someone else does something Like when someone else dives headfirst down the slope, you can't stop them. But what you can do is stand there and shout, "That's a slope. You're going to hell." Not literally, of course. You're hell. You by virtue of buying a microtransaction in a video game, you're dragging the average line of humanity down deeper into hell. And that's where I think it's like, it's not just, just don't buy it. It's the case of if you have to try and be a member of society. And this is getting a kind of weird, but you have to be a member of, you have to be a member of society. You can't just go, well, it doesn't matter that my neighbor's house is on fire. Because what do fires do? They grow and they burn other shit down. It's like, okay, sure. My neighbor's house on fire. That's their choice. It's like, yeah, that's their choice and it's going to kill you. Obviously, that's an exaggerated version. And obviously people won't go, well, that's there. But you can get like the philosophy of it. You can get the idea of, I think another version of that has to be in like market value for houses in an area. And this case where, if someone in a like, let's put someone in a society, my brain's gone wrong.
Wow, one of those.
It's someone in like an estate, in a housing estate and on the street, lets their place get overrun and it looks a little bad. And they have like like broken down cars lying around, whatever. Maybe they're working on them. Maybe it's just, but it looks kind of bad. It'll drag down the value. So homeowners associations, which people have called basically modern day fascists and whatever else, but in the sense of they're really brutal about that. And you can see where it comes from. You're coming in and going, right, okay, so you need to mow your lawn because you're making my house worth less money because it's beside a house that looks shit. You have to do that. And obviously that's another case of it, money, and people go, oh, well, money. But it's fundamentally all the same different mechanisms on all these different levels applying directly to this topic, where if people are like, I would like to buy traders tenders, please make my gameplay worse because I have no impulse control and want the dopamine in my brain, then they're making your game worse for doing that. And it's very hard to literally go, if you buy microtransactions, go fuck yourself, because that's rude.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it is also
Jimmy
true.
Spunks is still ruining your game.
Yeah, there is a level of, okay, don't be too mad because etc. People have their own lives stuff, but there is a case of you doing that is fundamentally harming the rest of the ecosystem. You could say, well, I'm helping support the game, and there's a part of that that's true. But whenever you're just been like, give me that boot, just stomp on my face, please, Bobby. If you're saying that through your actions, then what can you expect but more face stomping further down the line? You're conditioning Activision.
Not the good kind.
Yeah, exactly. You're conditioning.
He's going to sell that to you for a lot more money in a virtual reality experience.
Yeah, you're conditioning Activision Blizzard to treat you worse and get gains from it. That's fundamentally what you're doing by buying these things and by being what's it they say? A conscientious objector. Basically, it's like, people can go to war all they want. That's fine. I'm going to stay out of the war, but that's maybe a bad example.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad example.
Because war is a bit complicated. Never mind me.
You have in fact made it so large and fundamental that all meaning has been lost.
So I have, yes. Okay. Pretend I didn't say any of that. We'll go back to, if you buy microtransactions, you're setting your house on fire and you're going to kill your neighbors. There we go. That's me sorted.
Pog, yeah. So, Snooky dropped a super chat. Thank you, and said, it's so hard to conceptualize how Blizzard went from hero to zero in such a short period of time. Most gamers no longer trust or even like them anymore. That is the thing. It's like, even when Blizzard does something good, like whenever we say report on a feature that we like or talk about a bit of the game that's good, it's just the initial torrent is rage. And it's like, sometimes it's rage. It's not even to do with the video. Or it's got nothing to do with anything to be said in the video because it's been dropped so quickly before the videos, it's even been possible to watch it or anything like that. You do see it, and it's kind of weird. I'm beginning to notice, for some people, the sort of delineation between developer and publisher with Blizzard themselves. I mean, yes, they self-publish, you know what I mean? Between Blizzard and then this sort of Activision corporate, or say Blizzard top-end management corporate. For many people, that line, I think, does exist, and they're happy to, and I guess that's probably where most of the active players of the game are, where nobody likes Activision Blizzard. Like nobody
Not a
does.
soul.
Yeah, basically nobody likes Activision Blizzard anymore. They've managed to completely ruin their reputation, which is incredible. I mean, Blizzard themselves had they've had many dramas and stuff, but it has all got much worse. And as the thing is, it feels like unearned line go up because it's like Dragonflight's not enough. You have to do Dragonflight, win people back, then have a big, unambiguous public victory, like another Legion tier expansion launch where you can shout for the rooftops, how amazing the game is done and, all of that. That's when you can start to slip this stuff in. But it's like they don't have the discipline to make the strategically, like, long-term correct move. And I think that's another side of it that's annoying. Oh, dear.
The line must go up.
The line must go up.
The line must go up immediately because not a single, and I know we've had conversations about this before in a long time, but in long form, but it is fundamentally boils down to Activision Blizzard are a modern corporation, which means the shareholders are like, "Where's my money, motherfucker?" And the board have to say, "Here it is on a silver platter." Otherwise, the investors blow the company to pieces and kill all the board of directors. Not quite literally. And I think it's fundamentally that where we can see in the game development side, it's like, okay, you're building something, you're building, and you're building it and it's going to be good. Or it's ultimately going to be, it'll be better and better. And that's how you do things. You go, this is better now, and then better now, and then better now. You don't just say, here's a masterpiece out of nowhere. Here's a $1 billion selling game again out of nowhere. You have to build towards it. But it is just no line goes up, and if the line doesn't go up, something has to give, and that's why you see layoffs every year because investors are going, "Where's my money? You're spending too much of my money," and you're like, "But yeah." I am simplifying things a little bit too much, but it is like the fundament of growth at all costs. Growth never ends, and that comes directly. Short-term growth comes at the expense of long-term growth, often. Because people get really anxious when the line doesn't go up. Because I think historically, if the line starts going up, the line starts to go down very fast. And people are terrified of lying down.
Yeah, a lot
so
of
they
this
just go, well, how do we line up? And it's like, how do we line up now? How do we make the green line? If I see red, I'll cry. And that's everyone in the corporation.
Yeah, so it's just short-termism.
Yeah, it is fundamentally that. It's just, well, we want Dragonflight to make money now. We don't want it to make money in 4 years. We don't want it to make a lot of money in 4 years. We want it to make any money now, please. And that's fundamentally, I think, a lot of the issue. Like,
yeah, another super from Heroic Kitten. Is it worth making a WoW-focused YouTube channel in 2023, or has that ship sailed? That's a tricky one.
It depends on what you mean by worth. Fundamentally, which is, I know that is the most.
If you want to do it, it's like, if you want to do it and you think it would be fun, then do it. And I think almost all successful endeavors, like on YouTube, kind of start because it's fun and it's what you want to do. Because like if you are planning to do it for money, then it will not turn anything relevant unless you can just start making pint quality videos. Like, yeah, that could probably make you, like, explode out of nowhere. But to kind of do it in the way of, start, maybe do some class guides, talk about the news, that just takes an extremely long time to grow. So it's like, if you want to do it because it's interesting, you maybe want an outlet, or, like, you want to get better at speaking, you want to, whatever it may be, then yes, totally, it is worth doing it. Yeah, I don't know. I think for most of us, just, like, follow if you want to sort of super enjoy it. Now, if you mean this in the context of versus other things I could do that I'm interested in, like if you were super interested in, like, I don't know, Diablo 4 or, I mean, Valorant would be a very crowded game. I don't know how you do that. It would have to be like an esports or personality thing. There's certainly other games that you could focus on and do better with. That's for sure.
There's the fun thing.
WoW is not, it's not really in a big growth phase.
Yeah, I think if you're asking specifically about World of Warcraft, it implies enough sort of care for it that it would be like a passion project kind of thing.
Yeah.
In which case, yeah, it's worth it for the sake of itself, but it's not worth it if you're looking for money out of it.
Yeah.
It's not even worth it if you're looking for a return on it or like revenue neutral thing. It's likely going to be, this is throwing all of your time into the void. what are you getting from the actual throwing of it, as opposed to waiting for the void to spit something back out. I think that's ultimately it. It's the same reasons we're doing anything that you like, I guess. Because if you ever do something, go, well, this is going to make me a load of money, then probably not going to go very well. Unless you're like incredibly intelligent and have completely cracked something insane, but chance of that's generally slim by virtue of distributions.
Yeah. I mean, I did it the boring way.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Dark Soul Super said challenges for monthly tracks will be made worse. That's another
That's one of the problems. Yeah.
Again, incentives. So that's why we're generally against that, because incentives damage the game for many people if they're bad.
Yeah.
They sort of set up loads of bad incentives.
Yeah, that's ultimately the thing is just, why are they making this? What is the goal of this when they sit down to make it? And if the goal is squeeze more money out of you, as opposed to make you have a better time, then you can immediately see which one's going to be good and which one's going to be bad.
Yeah, pretty easy. We don't know if this will happen. It's just those of me data mine. So let's hope that there's probably people internally who don't want this or against this. Maybe the more people actually kick up a stink about it in a way that decently matters, then perhaps some changes could be made. Yeah. And that is generally kind of rare, but even you look at War Thunder. War Thunder did its whole economy rebalance. People just turned around and said, fuck no. And they actually did scrap it. And so, they said they would revisit it in the summer.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's...
People can work.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's why I think I'm happy enough to just be like, no, let's not suggest, this maybe won't happen. Let's go, if this does happen, it's a horrible idea and they shouldn't. Yes. Very much out the gate, even though it's like, what's the chances of it? Actually quite slim, probably, but... Just in case, it's almost like this is maybe another terrible example because I'm very good at examples these days. Like it's equivalent, I think, of like a toddler walking over to an oven. And it's like chances of them, touching the oven's probably reasonably slim, but you still go, oh well, let's get a guard on that, or let's let's make it clear, no, don't do that. That's a bad thing. But obviously, it's in their nature to do it out of curiosity. I think, which, have I just likened Activision Blizzard's money-making team to a bunch of children? Yes. Brilliant. But I think there's one little tiny thing before we go away, which is there was a dev did not speak out about this very intentionally.
Oh, yes. He publicly didn't speak out.
Yeah, where it's here. I want to say something here because I work in the Trading Post, but NDAs are terrifying. And you can read that in many ways. And I'm assuming, this is my personal assumption, personal read of it is, I want to say something because it's not like this. I desperately want to say we would never do this, and it's not part of our plan at all, but I can't say anything because I'm not allowed to speak. That's what I imagine is the case. Probably. It could also be, I want to say something here, they're doing it, run away quick, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. Oh dear.
Yeah. Okay, to move on then. Revival Catalyst. It is in, and it is in for real. Unlike the accidental bug of last week. The way it works is you get charges. You get one charge across every single character, including ones you haven't made yet. It's just an account-wide sort of limit that goes up by one every week, regardless. So there's that. But you can actually turn your Season 1 gear into Season 1 tier for completely free. So that's going to be really handy for filling in those MOG sets. I mean, yeah, that's mostly it.
Yeah, you can also change stats on gear by catalyzing them.
Oh, of course.
Because every catalyzed item has a fixed gear bit. You can min-max some of your stat changes by according to this table that Dakra put together for us. Which I won't use because we've killed Sarkarath.
Yeah, same. So I suppose screenshot that.
Yep.
Also, Aberrus BOEs.
Yeah.
Why are they here?
Because...
Oh, some of them are in tier slots, so those can be catalyzed as well. So, there's that. Which, is it a bit late? Most people would probably say yes.
Yes.
They would. For the other thing, though, which is good to see,
This one's
the
very
Winds of Sanctuary, where for 3 weeks we get a 50% XP buff. You can add more percents onto that, though, with the Draft of the 10 Lands from the Battle for Azeroth, and by turning on War Mode, which if you're on some servers, or battle groups, or maybe it's regional, I forget, but sometimes that can be a 20% XP boost.
Yeah, I think it was
Get up to 80% in total.
Yeah, it was 15, I think, earlier today on Alliance and Ravencrest. I'm like, I'll take that for nothing. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about leveling things, well, Paladin, they had a revamp recently. Holy's getting a rework in 10.1.5. Mage, all of them are getting a rework in 10.1.5, and there's the new augmentation of Evoker in 10.1.5 as well.
And also, it's probably in the dock here, but it's time walking week, which means if you want to get something from 60 to 70, you can do that in a couple of hours tops from just brain dead running time walking. Super easy, super quick, especially if you
know a tank. Like, if you can get a good tank who knows how to pull all those dungeons quick, you will be absolutely off to the races.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so next thing then, now that everybody's killed Skarn, we've had nerfs to him and an improvement to the trap visuals. Hey, at least they're learning.
Better late than never.
I think it's weird. Like, Skarn is the most fiddled about with boss this tier, but then Magmarax got all of his fiddling before he came out, and that's why Magmarax is like a free boss with no mechanics.
I think
Something's up there.
I haven't actually seen the recent Aberrus Raid interview. We'll have bits on that in the document here where they discuss some things, including some good news for a lot of people wanting to do the Dawn of Infinite, which is also bad news for some people wanting to do it. But we'll get into that. I think ultimately there's something with Magmarax where they clearly had, you look at the platform, you look at the environment, you go, you had ideas, and then you had to scrap those ideas because there's no way a third boss from the end ships with basically no mechanics. It's like, not there are mechanics, but Magmarax is like a second boss or even a first boss in complexity compared to every other boss around there.
It's so weird.
Because going for like you can imagine how much harder this raid would be if it was Skarn, someone harder than Skarn, then Notharian, then Sarkareth. But clearly, like, I have this idea of them doing things with all of the like lava in the platform, because the way the platform is in the lava pool, I imagine there's a lot of stuff like, what if the platform goes down, the lava comes in, and there's smaller platforms? Kind of, that would be a throwback to Notharian as well, actually, to the not Notharian, Nefarian, the Blackwing Descent one, because that was the Onyxia platform with the lava come up. I imagine they want to do something like that, but the physics of, especially because the platform's on chains. So if the lava rises, the platform would rise too. So you can imagine them doing things like that, or sink it down, one half the platform goes up, etc. And I guess they just weren't able to do that, or weren't able to get it to work perfectly. Same way they had to cut the class call mechanics for Notharian. I imagine that was a balancing issue more than anything else. But it was like, that was data mined. People were like, oh yeah, let's go. Class calls, those are really, really cool. And then people looked at them and started crying because they were slightly unbalanced. You're like, you're randomly shifting a druid out of form. It was like rogues like shadow stepped and hurt their allies at times. And you're like, that's really flavorful, but they decided not to run with it. So I'm assuming it's something similar of, raid design team couldn't quite get. And I certainly have some post-raid thoughts about Aberrus. And I'm like, it's maybe not as good as I'd initially rated it. Just after some extra thinking.
Yeah, I can see some of that.
Yeah,
for some of the bosses.
Yeah, indeed.
At least the Echo and Eltharion, or Echo and Sarkareth, I sort of generally enjoy.
Yeah, Sarkareth was nowhere near as good as Razageth. That's my problem.
Razageth was excellent.
Yep.
So what's happened then? The Dragonfire traps have been nerfed quite a bit on normal and heroic. Most of the difference is on heroic, though. Certainly interesting. Looking at it then. Right, so Blast Wave reduced 10% normal and heroic. Dragonfire traps are now magic dispellable in heroic difficulty. The activation time is 5 seconds instead of 3 on normal, and the activation is 4 instead of 3 on heroic, and better additional visuals. And also for Sarkareth, the Motes of Oblivion should be more visible against the ground. Are those the motes that are the things that fall to make you go into the void zone?
Yes,
in
they
phase
are.
3?
They are now changed to being the same color as the ground instead of a different color.
What?
So they were originally like a brown purple that I thought was really like hard to see, but also it would like the ground's pretty striking blue, so like a dark brownish kind of overlay. I could see them pretty clearly. and then they've been changed to be blue, and I'm like, that's blue on blue. That's worse. That's actually like they contrast it more like with light and stuff because they're brighter. But I also think they kind of look a little bit harder to see now, and I'm like, oh no,
Whoops.
what are you doing? But yeah, they did change those because that was like in phase 1, it's all fire. Like the swirlies are orange and red. You go spot on. I can see red because it's on blue. That's red versus blue. Tale as old as time. Tale as old as Halo. I go sweet, fantastic. Now it's just here's purple and blue on blue. Like, whoa. I get what you're going for, but really, really need something to improve overall visibility for swirlies specifically, because swirlies have a like a blurred gradiated outline instead of something clear, instead of a clear like line or a couple pixel stroke outline or anything like that.
It's so
like,
nice.
And you know what the thing is? Dawn of Infinite has some of the most obvious and best telegraphs I've seen in World of Warcraft. It's really cool. Like, we're talking, they look like League abilities.
What?
They look a little bit more like League of Legends and WildStar than they do World of Warcraft. And that's amazing to me.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And they're like designed so they fit the aesthetic of the raid or of the dungeon, which is really cool. But then also, swirlies are not that way. I had this idea of like swirlies that have like a solid outline, like a transparent center that like fill up. And then as soon as the circles fill, then it happens, as opposed to, the way a swirlies there and it's like the thing landing, but you can't see the thing landing because of camera angles. I'm like, so they do seem to be improving that very nicely. I hope they'll learn in time for like implementation of the next raid to go. If they do it all like Dawn of Infinites, spot on. Beautiful work. Fantastic.
I look forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially because of new characters, which I really need to get to. For finishing things off, though, so you already know about Mop Time Walking, which you get the 50%, 50% rep buff.
That's also crazy if you're getting those rep tokens during this when this actor buff. Big.
It's all speedy. You get your rep, you get your XP, some nice stuff in those Mop reps too. Also, though, for PvP, it's Comp Stomp, which is, I think, like the one PvP that PvEers generally end up playing.
I wonder why.
Well, do you know what it does make you think?
That PvP is...
How about, based on this, does it perhaps indicate, Blizzard Entertainment, that some sort of fight against bots with your friends horde mode? No, I don't mean Violet Pinnacle, or Violet, the Violet dungeon from Wrath, where it's just waves of boys. But like, there's evidently something to this that people keep on doing Comp Stomp, and I think it's probably more than just... It really is a stomp and it's very quick and you get your rewards quickly. I think there is something about that. Like, I remember fighting NPCs who were a bit smart was really fun in the BFA island expeditions.
So it was,
when you had lower gear. Why do Blizzard not realize, hang on a sec, maybe some...
AI enemies, please?
Yeah, it's like maybe, we can't call it PvPvE because it's not that. But like PvEP. Now we're just going to be weird. Player versus enemy player. No, when I say PvEP, that makes no sense. That's stupid. Get rid of it.
It's just different PvE.
Yeah, PvE with smart enemies. And I know people are going to then just say, that's Warfronts! Yeah, but Warfronts...
Exactly.
Were kind of...
Exactly.
No,
that's Warfronts.
They were shit.
If Warfronts were good, they'd have been amazing.
Yeah, actually, that's a really big thing. Yeah, that's the way that you sometimes can learn totally the wrong lesson from someone. It's like, this category of thing was wrong. It's like, no, it's a cool category. It was executed terribly. Because, of course, with the Warfronts, you're just sitting there, you queue for the thing, you go into it, they always play out the same way. The enemies ended up being kind of toothless, and the way that it was all balanced through the numbers meant it was just a big old meat grind. Where there's probably a version of that that's just like more simple chaos or like different sorts of gameplay fantasy that you could do. Like if you were to reenact famous battles, between the Alliance and the Horde in like a time walking thing. And it's honestly, it's just like a 3-point capture and hold or some map, some map variant like that. But it takes place in the Barrens, and it's, that camp. Or maybe it's like the battles in the Barrens of the Alliance and the Horde had in Cataclysm. You just do that as a thing. Like, I don't know. I think that there's something here. This is the one that people actually play. Maybe the people are willing to actually try this sort of thing means that we could like expand it more. But anyhow, it is also a very quick way to grind honor and some rewards. Of course, you'll be getting your marks of honor via this. Those marks of honor are real good for getting old PvP transmog ensembles that in many cases can look fantastic. And outside of that, of course, you'll get plenty of honor. So if you did want to get started in PvP, this will get you a bunch of honor gear to do so. And with that, that's the things happening in game. Next, we get to talk about a novel, about a story, The Scaleborn War.
The War of the Scaleborn. Get it right,
That's
Michael.
it. Whoops. There you go. We've just started the segment and I've already lost. Hey, imagine if our dragon battles looked 3% as cool as that does in game. Wouldn't that be something?
I've figured something out, and this is a spoiler for the Lore Walking Mage podcast that went up today that me and Jared were on. So there's two things that Blizzard is missing that they need to have in the game more that would get people excited. Number one is dragon fights, because we've only had basically, we've had one and a bit dragon fight. Because the Wrathion and Razageth, that wasn't a fight. That was Wrathion getting deleted.
Yeah.
Razageth and Alexstrasza had a fight, and that was cool, and people liked it. And then there wasn't really a fight in Sarlacc Cavern, because Neltharion was in human form, or in his visage. Neltharion?
It wasn't even
That
him.
wasn't Neltharion. Who was it? Wasn't him Sibelian? Sibelian threw the spear at Farak, and then Farak blasted Abyssin. Alright, okay. Well, there you go. That wasn't really a dragon fight. So this the response to this novel cover is everyone going, dragon fight, cool. And as me and Jared determined, more wizard fights as well. And what's a wizard fight? A wizard fight is basically a dragon fight, but with humans. Different from a human fight, because a human fight, you understand what I mean, I hope. But it's ultimately, people would be way cooler, way happier about how cool the game is if it was cool like this. That's all you need. You just need contrasting colors and dragons roaring. You can kind of get the vibe. Like
some of the principles of a good YouTube thumbnail are at play here with like the color contrast and the vibrancy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what this book is though is it's telling the
War of the Scaleborn
War. Woo!
Scalebound War. Yo. Scalebound, the game that never was.
Oh, I'm sorry for your at this stage PTSD over being a Platinum Games fan. I'm so sorry.
The news that Platinum got to work on a segment in FF16. Oh my god, I'm so happy.
It's going to be the one bit of the game that doesn't work.
No, people already have a fairly good idea of what it is. It's going to be super sick.
Shit, nice.
It's like perfectly up their alley.
So this book could either go real good or real bad, because what it essentially seems to focus on is the relationship between Alexstrasza and Veranoth, who were friends. But Alexstrasza, she took the goddamn blue pill, which, and then Veranoth took the red pill. And that's a funny joke, because actually Veranoth is blue and Alexstrasza's red. Oh, how funny. But yes, Alexstrasza's like, Alexstrasza's like, I've taken the Titan juice. This is fine. This is great. Look at me. I'm all smooth now. And then Veranoth gets to say, no, I know what's really going on. I am smarter than you, Alexstrasza, you stupid bastard. And then they have a big fight. Now, it's almost certainly the case that Veranoth will be the main dragon that we deal with in our next major patch. Something will probably happen to Farak, I guess, maybe. But Veranoth and the Emerald Dream, that makes a lot of sense. There's some cinematic foreshadowing of that as well that's went on in the game. Look at this. It's like this is like, my guard, my sort of a microphone sword. That's very, very, very powerful and commanding when you could assault somebody if they come close to you while you're recording. So if that backstory is like in the game and the relationship between those characters works really well in the game, then having a book that's just like, hey, here's some dessert that we couldn't fit in the calorie budget for this build.
Exactly.
Great. But if it's one of those cases where this stuff, much like so much of Sylvanas in BFA, just doesn't work, and then a book fixes the problem, then that is going to be very disappointing, and it will have failed by Ian Hazzikostas' own metric, which is that if really it's an external source that is what's making the in-game lore make sense, then that is, what do you call it, a narrative interruption or a narrative, something like that. Which, of course, the Sylvanas book, even though it was a really good book, actually was. Because, like, it can be a good book, but the overall narrative experience of, like, Warcraft can be disjointed and bad, even though a good book can reside within it. Yeah. So I think that's the thing that is the most important here, and this is basically just the big old battle, right? This war, these characters disagreeing. Alexstrasza and her friend Viranoth try to preserve peace. As we can perhaps see from the cover image, that doesn't end up going too well for them.
Peace and tranquility.
There. Oh, finally some Warcraft is going on. What's that?
No, you see, you don't understand it. That's just how dragons talk to each other very closely.
Oh, is it just like, like Italians with all the, the kiss in the cheek and the big hand movements and the spaghetticini and all that stuff?
Yes, dragons are Western Europeans. You heard it here first. Absolutely.
We've worked it out.
We've figured it out, no worries.
Yeah. You see, here we just talked about, here we just turn on resting bitch face, stiffen up like a plank, and become extremely awkward when we talk to each other. And then you go on holidays to somewhere in Europe and they're all like fucking animated and fun and like, we're like, what the? Yeah, are you letting emotions out? What is this? Oh.
Yeah, it's like my default face is literally like, I tend to smile, or at least when I'm talking, I smile a bit more. My default face when I walk around is literally just like, can I do it without smiling? Because I'm thinking about it. It's like,
you just walk around like, I'll fucking kill you if you touch me.
Basically,
looking at
it's just me. And then I talk, hello, but
yeah. So you say hello to Matt. He's like, what do you mean hello?
Yep.
Tenses up, kills me.
No, I mostly just go, what are you talking to me? What's the motive? I live in a city. I'm distrustful. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. Oh dear. Yes. So I think that's basically the situation. I think the book will probably be cool. There'll be aspects of the lore that will be cool. And to be honest, right, if we were going to have some successful macro narrative design, we maybe would have seen some flashbacks. We would have had some show don't tell going on for some of these key pivotal events that motivate our characters, who currently are just standing around talking about unity.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm kind of hopeful for this, actually. And that is that, well, okay, maybe this will pan out wrong and maybe I'll have to eat my words horribly, but this book was announced before the patch. So maybe stuff happens in the patch and we get to see them in the patch in the game where they do stuff. That's my hope. My hope is they do it right this time. It's a bit simple, but I hope they actually bother to, don't spring Alexstrasza and Viranoth being best mates back in the day, and like the only two that were going for peace. Don't spring that on us in the book or in an announcement for the book before the patch comes out, where you then show us in the book, you show us in the patch, and we're not surprised because you told us about it in the fucking book announcement.
See, it's like
that's the
he just got triggered.
Yeah, no.
So I'm going to talk about microtransactions and cause you to explode.
Yeah, that rage came in a flurry. Actually, genuinely, I immediately realized how stupid it is to spoil what you're going to talk about by announcing a book for pre-order when you don't need to announce the book for pre-order until after the fucking patch, and you go done. But if this is literally a line go up, if this is line go up because we need pre-orders for a book, then you have bigger problems to solve.
You know what? I think that these books are so meaningless to the amount of money that actually moves the needle.
Yeah.
For Blizzard. I think that these books, I think they generally are genuinely are a world lore building, deepening the fan experience. Like, I really do think it is that. Because as an example, would it make financial sense for us to make like an RPG source book for Pale Beyond? No, it wouldn't. Would I really like to do that because it would be cool, some people would enjoy it, and while we do that, we would flesh out the world and, work out things that would probably help us in the future? That sounds like a win-win. Is it the most line go up? No. But it's it's a cool thing you can do. And there evidently still is room for that. Right? It's not like we're not getting a new book we're not getting a new book with each Call of Duty season.
Oh, we should though. That'd be good.
Yeah, just oh great, here's a short story anthology of Captain Price's exploits when he was a young man. Fantastic. Actually,
Yeah.
Just get one of those ex-SAS authors to go write that shit. There you go, Bobby. Send me the invoice.
Brilliant. Man, they're like the amount of invoices that we'll have sent to them lying in their post box will be hilarious by the time we're done.
Well, we should really check the post box.
Yeah. There's just going to be like hundreds of millions of dollars from Blizzard sitting in there. I'm like, we should have cashed this in a while ago. Whoops.
We're just fucking has been there all this time. Oh dear.
Well, that explains a couple of things, doesn't it? Oh,
Yeah, so I think that the time that they should have been building this up, though, is the opening experience of the expansion. Or maybe at the end of Vault of the Incarnates, because for Alexstrasza, she probably should have, seen Veranoth and had an emotional reaction to that because of her complex emotions.
Yeah, there certainly are issues with Alexstrasza being like, oh, there's something happening that's like really important to the
Shut
future.
the fuck up. Unity.
So there's
friendship.
So there's something really important to the future of Dragonkind happening. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to be here in the city doing nothing. Sorry, I mean resolving terrorist plots by saying, why can't we all be friends?
Under my queenship. Queendom.
Queendom, yeah.
There.
Yeah, fucking do something, you useless fucking...
Yeah.
That's
Please.
ultimately what it feels like.
Please,
Where,
let Alexstrasza do something.
There's a decent chance she does do something in 10-2. But the problem is then, sorry guys, we're out of screen time. Why? Because we planned 10-2 to be about Veranoth. And we planned it to be about the Emerald Dream. So we planned it to be about Ysera and Marithra. And because it's about Ysera, it's about Tyrande and Malfurion and the fucking Shadowlands again and the Winter Queen and Elune. And Alexstrasza in the corner like, where's my screen time? And then the narrative design team say, get in the fucking book, Alexstrasza, where you belong. Get in the book.
You're a dragon. It's what you're meant for. The only people who get books are night elves.
Oh, jeez.
And their associates. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
humans get comics. Night elves get books. Dragons get fucked. Oh. Nope.
yeah, I was about
That was actually not meant to be a joke referring to the Chromie thing, to make that extremely clear.
Yeah.
It was generally dragons not getting the narrative care and attention that they deserve.
Yeah. Good. Very good.
Oh, I can feel like all of Twitter floating in the window.
If it helped at
poison
all,
killing.
I was about to make a joke that I then realized midway through saying, or midway through thinking it could be related to that, but it isn't. I was about to say, get in the book, it's okay, this one's not written by Richard A. Knack. But I forgot entirely about that just because I remember Dawn of the Aspects and Knack being a very water dragons. I don't really know, I'll figure it out as I go along kind of stuff. And that's where a lot of the problems of dragons, like initially in World of Warcraft, came from. Here's the Knack version, where they're kind of weird and we don't like them very much. And then they actually fleshed them out more now in a different way. And you're like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking dire. This is dire.
Sure is
But
something.
I will talk about this a little bit, which is I did a little bit of research because I don't have a life or anything like that. So I did some research on this author, Courtney Alameda. I don't know.
Alameda, like Alameda Research.
I don't know, but yes.
You weren't following the FTX fall with everybody's favorite forest nymph.
No. Anyway, so yes, Alameda. Courtney is a writer of, and I was surprised because it was very much, she's very heavy on horror stuff. And then I looked a little bit deeper into it, and it's a little bit of like experiencing young adult horror, but also a little bit of fantastical stuff leading into the horror. But ultimately what she is very good at is, believe it or not, character relationships, especially character relationships between females who are like family members and or friends. I was reading like reviews of her books like Shudder, and a lot of it was, some of this is a wee bit naff, but the part that really was done well was all of the character stuff with how these, like the drama unfolded between all of these characters with a female lead and all that stuff. And I was like, well, that actually sounds like they got the perfect person for here's two dragons having a big drama.
So a bit of an anti-Knack, and then also, thankfully,
Yes.
Anduin Wrynn is nowhere near this book. So his, you know, oh, he's so good. Oh, he can do no wrong. Anduin is so good. Look, he's turned Bane into himself. Now Bane is Anduin as well.
Yeah.
Thankfully, none of that will happen because Anduin isn't there. And I suppose you look at where this narrative eventually has to go, and it is sort of a big war.
It's a big
So, you know, we'll see what happens. To do just quickly some supers, Duke Dookie said, guys, do you guys think the potential forced attendees has anything to do with Microsoft acquisition, Blizzard greed? Honestly, I think that is just standard. The businesses are just running with their own incentives. I don't think that's anything to do with the Microsoft acquisition. I mean, you could maybe say that if they were going to be acquired, they could be trying to trim their operation, do that sort of thing. You know, cut away some long-term investments that are like not their problem anymore. But I don't really think it's that. I think it is just their business models developing as, you know, as they do. As they would. Type Zero Super said, how does the Jailer's plan work into this book? Can we attach the Jailer to the Scaleborn War? I suppose we can. It's actually really easy to, because the Jailer is from the group of 3D printed beings above the Titans. So, well, no, he's equivalent. He's like of an equivalence of the Titans, but he is all very smart and knows about the first ones. And the Titans are also very smart and know about the first ones. And the Jailer was like, what did he say again? He doesn't like the first ones. He wants to harness their power because the plan's bad. Yes.
No. Harness the power was the marketing tagline for Dragonflight. You've got this all mixed up.
Well, that's how they're connected because Zoval wanted to hashtag harness the power. So Zoval pre-ordered Dragonflight. Probably even managed to get some traders tender out of it too, knowing him.
The point is he didn't, because if he did, he would have won. Oh, we pre-ordered Dragonflight, and that's why we won in the end, or something along those lines.
Damn!
But no, I've actually got it. It's because the Titan plan ultimately was about building all of the machinery inside Azeroth, and clearly that's what Ice Crown Citadel underneath that was inspired by the same machinery. So it's clearly like a Titan kind of stuff.
Do you know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like, you live in the skin of the Panopticon, and the Panopticon's not meant to watch you. You're just ants.
Yes.
I think that's going to be sort of the big idea.
You guys should be on the lore team. I don't think I could imagine a fate worse than having to be on that team.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say yes to that.
Yeah, I know that seems like a, you know, maybe if I had a consultancy position where I worked 3 days a year and got paid $100 grand.
The Mets special.
If I had the Mets special, yeah.
I'll take the Mets special too.
Yeah, the problem is I'm not Chris Metzen. I'm just some asshole who thinks too much about the video game, basically.
All right, we need to do a lot of coke and become very cool. I think that's how you do it.
I'm game.
All right, let's
100%,
go.
100%.
Fantastic.
Without the coke though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Fortunately, not good in the long term.
No.
I mean, if it was a nootropic, I probably would have tried it, but no, bad move. So,
yeah, that's actually a good point from Makai saying, yeah, it sounds like we could fix it, but in reality, the lore team is probably shackled to other devs' interests.
Yeah.
That is almost certainly what it is almost every single time.
Everything is the EU or UN. As in, everyone's got veto power over everything. Nobody's got anything enough that'll happen. And everything is just papers and reports and things just bumped about between people. And everything takes 1,000,000 years. Like, it's probably just large-scale stuff is a shit show because efficiency decreases as scale increases. And it's all ran by humans and sort of corporate governance and that sort of thing. I mean, this isn't necessarily just corporate governance, but like leadership, team structures, that stuff like that is generally known to be bad in the games industry. And I would hazard to guess bad, especially at a very large company like Blizzard that is an older company. So I think most of the stuff doesn't come down to, it's like Hanlon's razor, you know, don't attribute to malice. Well, it's probably just moron, but also it's like, don't call people moron because actually, while their result may be moronic, they might be smart. And that's because of all the different complicated things that are just getting in the way of them doing a good job, which is, I think, what so many big corporations end up doing.
Yeah, I think Hanlon's razor is... I
I'm
can't remember
my razors.
Occam's razor is simplicity.
Oh
Simplicity
my
one.
god, I'm stupid.
Yeah, Occam's razor is simplicity. Hanlon's is the stupidity and incompetence thing. Or
Oh,
the, yeah. So I think it's like, I think it's I can't remember if it's stupidity or incompetence, but I always like kind of frame it now in my head as it is like, don't attribute it to malice or an individual being shitty. Treat it to the, like, I guess the systemic incompetence
Got
of
it.
this thing doesn't work. Why does that thing not work? Maybe there are individuals there that aren't doing a great job. Maybe there's communication and processes aren't a good job. All it knows is this is a big like black box of very interesting things full of like teams and processes and people, and the output is bad. But you don't get to look into that black box to figure out what about it is bad. Just go, oh, there's clearly something out of it.
Imagine if your university project was one project for the whole year and everyone worked on it.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Yep.
Because the thing about becoming a professional is you don't just become a professional. Very slowly you realize that compared to everybody else, you're a professional, even though you feel like a moron.
Yeah.
That's how it actually is. Okay. Interview roundup. I don't know why I did it so dramatically. So this better be a bloody good interview or else I'll have led you all down the river. Right. Or sold you all down the river.
Patch is not imminent. It's pretty imminent.
It seems pretty imminent.
It's July the 11th. Like,
There you go. Matt's confirmed it.
The Winds of Sanctuary event ends.
It's July the 11th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's definitely a Northern Ireland related EU release day joke to be made.
Oh, nice.
That's there. Like, why is one side of the community clear to the mega dungeon more than the other? It's because the Catholics are all indoors in terror.
Yeah.
Northern Ireland. Okay, 10-1-5 interviews this week. What is going on? Well, things. And our good man, Mr. Dakor, has compiled information for us into a handy place. So then, Dawn of the Infinite. Both Lost Codex and For Azeroth interviewed Associate Game Director Morgan Day and Stephen Cavallaro, Senior Encounter Designer, on the topic of this new Dungo.
God bless you, Stephen.
Let's start on story. So,
I will say the original videos here, just for context. Here they are, so you can look at them later
yeah,
if you want to.
you can look at them later and actually hear what the people have got to say instead of just, us bullshitting about between each other and going over a bullet point.
Because this is something I'm just going to literally wax lyrical for no reason here. There's a very interesting thing with information density and how people are engaging with the world today. And people engage very, very much with summaries and like points and the kind of the compilations as opposed to with the entirety of something, and that's very useful and important today because there's so much information to distill in order to stay up with how things go, and if you don't do that you're kind of losing out. But at the same time there is profound amounts of like detail lost in summaries and compilation, stuff like that.
So the way people like have say a plushy fish. Yeah. And it's like the only person who can talk is the person who's holding the fish. So instead what you do is you get a video of Subway Surfers. So then when you're doing an interview, you hold your phone up to the camera so there's some Subway Surfers footage for the Zoomers to watch while you make your point, and then they'll listen.
Yes.
Speaking of which, the story of Dawn of the Infinite. Unlike Macagon, it is more moving the plot of Dragonflight forward.
Which is good because Karazhan didn't do that either.
Yeah.
This is very good.
Oh, Karazhan. It was like Legion. Oh, and by the way, this Legion thing, not important. Look where Medivh went. So that'll come back soon. But yes, I think that's good because the whole Mega Dungeon thing, it's basically an opportunity to have, let's be real, a raid worth of story. This just gets to be an extra raid worth of story going on. So this the story laid out in this will continue in a future update, but the bulk of the story is in the lead-up quests and the actual dungeon itself. There are two main plot lines converging here. The Bronze Dragonflight arc with Chromie trying to protect Nosdormu from becoming Morzog. That is what we call a typo in the document. And then, of course, the Primal Incarnates Iridicron stuff. The two are overlapping, though, in this dungeon.
And they really are.
Yep, Chromie's trying to do the saving. Iridicron's trying to get that Galakron juice, we presume. More quest lines will open up after completing the Mega Dungeon, including some encrypted things that we'll have to wait till launch to see.
Yeah, let's go! God bless you for doing that. I'm so tired of story coming out in PTR.
I need a friggin' soundboard where I can hit it and it'll just say, yeah, buddy!
Yeah, buddy!
That was a good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I practiced story.
And then the other one just come in the name of peace.
Come in the name of peace. Yes.
It'll be really. Do you know what we should do?
No, we're not getting. We're not getting my Discord soundboard. Nope.
Someone from our guild is like on a call with us during the stream,
Right.
and they get to be, if you're ever watching a great film such as Who Killed Captain Alex, and you get to listen to VJ Emmy, like action's coming, and VJ Emmy's just like, action movie, as the action happens, you're like, oh my god, VJ Emmy, you're right, it is an action movie. They can just like be like, yeah, just play soundboards. It'd be
I'm
great.
going to be like honest. Actually, if I could be bothered, I could set up soundboard for this because I know Nicky was showing me he has Discord's hooked up to the Stream Deck, which I have one here. So we actually could do that. If we want to. It'd be scary though.
He's got his Discord in his Stream Deck. He's got his fucking home lights in his Stream Deck.
It does. Oh, I got
Well put together bastard.
an LED strip recently.
So this is great then that we have these like encrypted storylines, because to be honest, like we didn't know any storylines were happening. The only
outside of the intro, which felt very okay, we're just going in here now. Okay, sure. Which is nice to see that there will be a follow up after, which is better than here's all the story and then the dungeon.
And on that, so by the end of the dungeon, Morazon's story will be finished for now, but it does not mean the end of the Infinite Dragon.
Of course, yeah, I figured they wouldn't be able to finish that story, which means
you haven't told me what's going on.
Which means
I don't know yet.
My theory is still right.
Oh.
I thought that when they announced this being the Infinite thing, I was like, no, my idea for how Dragonflight's going to go is wrong. But now that basically confirms that my idea is completely correct. Not in the details, but in the grand scope of what's going where. So, yeah, we're still good.
Pog. The device that Iridicron uses to siphon Galakron has properties similar to the Dragon Soul. It was forged by an Altharian, and we'll learn more about it in future updates.
Of course we will. That
dude,
is
this is going to be like remember the Knife of the Sith? The Dagger of the Sith from Star Wars 3. It was so good.
What's really tilting me is I don't remember what it was, but I remember looking up what that like dagger actually was.
Yeah.
And looking up a couple of like the expanded universe like legendary weapons and concepts and thinking they're really cool, and then remembering they put it in the movie and made it shit. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I just have a default. Is this a MacGuffin? Who knows?
It's like it is,
you know, you've played it.
Yeah, I know. Like, this whole property similar to Dragon Soul. That's not like this is some interview knowledge. This is like literally said in the dungeon. It's literally that's kind of the Dragon Soul, but not. Oh, what the fuck's going on here?
So did Iridicron yank that from Aberys?
He yanked that from Aberys or whatever. I think was it Nalkal's Call was the lab where that stuff was. I think, or somewhere wherever. The one where you go and see Sarkareth with the gauntlet.
Why?
But whatever lab it was had the artifacts, including the bit of Galakron, the bit of Galakron's claw, and then the other thing.
Wizard, you could have showed that. That could have been a thing that happened. Could have been a thing that happened in 10.1 that led into 10.1.5. So there'd be an art of through line.
Sorry, we currently have budgetary issues. Thank you.
Just like just given the A plot so disjointed, that feels like a missed opportunity. If he canonically went, because like right now you wouldn't know that Iridicron had ever been to Zarlat Cavern.
Yeah, that's the.
It's just like oh, by the way, he got that. Yeah, it wasn't in the game. All right. The Incarnates. I think this is a change. The Incarnates don't see him as a martyr, an ally. They feared him as well as the aspect.
I don't think that's a change. I think that is a. I think there's an assumption that people had, and maybe there's something where they talked about Galakron in a sort of way. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Did he get that thing from Forbidden Reach?
It might have been one of the labs in the Reach. I'm not sure.
Okay, well if it's that, then it's a bit more reasonable. But still, I feel like that.
Yeah, it's like it's stuff that. It's stuff that I kind of offhand know because we talked about it in the stream once, as opposed to it happened very obviously in game.
Ah, right. Yeah. Yes.
This is kind of like I like that, but I also it's weird. It's like I guess it all boils down to the thing of if that were bonus context, if that were second dessert, you'd be happy. But the problem is you're going, where's my dessert?
So to wrap it all up with that dungeon from a narrative perspective, though, like were you happy, exciting? Interesting.
So there wasn't an awful lot to it in the dungeon, so I'm assuming most of the weight of it happens after, because a lot of it is kind of here's some goofy fights and things like that. But there is like that core bit, and I don't want to spoil it, but the core conceit of the dungeon is really interesting, and they do things that they haven't done in WoW before with it. That's really cool. I'm very excited for people to do it and completely ignore it because they're not paying attention because they're just trying to get loot. God, shit. Anyway, yeah, there's a couple bits of like Chromie dialogue and the way she talks and the way things go that I was like, what's that? And I was like, what's that? what color is that magic? Because that's where we are now, where I'm seeing the color of magic and going, why was that color of magic there? That doesn't make any sense. What's this guy doing? What's happening? But yeah, it's a good dungeon. It's a good dungeon. Very good in a lot of ways, including narratively.
Good shit. For the unlock, it's available immediately. There's a breadcrumb quest that explains it, but you don't need to do that quest in order to enter it. So that's good, and that's based off player feedback.
Yeah.
And unlike previous ones, it will be split into 2 heroic dungeons in 10.1.7, which is much sooner than they would normally do that. Season 3 will, of course, feature Mythic Plus versions of these as well, and some narrative and RP elements will be removed whenever they convert it into Mythic Plus, which again is really good to have happen. On the difficulty front, right, this is weird because I saw achievements referencing a hard mode.
No, I think those may just have been like, you know, the usual achievements, like the raid achievements of do this specific thing.
See, it was
and not a literal hard mode.
People told me that the gear was 421, and that seemed really low. And then you guys were saying that it was a total cakewalk, so it's not actually like that now.
That must just be PTR tuning at the minute, because we were scaled down to 415 and we walked over it outside of a bug, which meant we had to find a workaround to kill a boss. Basically, the time lost battlefield had a bug respawning more ads than possible, so we had to completely like hero and zerg the boss down. That was the only fight that was hard. Outside of a couple wipes on Iridicron, because we literally didn't. No, sorry, it wasn't Iridicron. It was the one before that where we wiped on a couple things because we're like, "What's that mechanic? Oh, it killed us."
Actually,
it's pretty easy.
This is really cool. So yeah, that thing of it being 421 on the PTR, the loot, that's just not true.
We actually knew that because I think Skarsgård said that at one point. Said they won't be 421, but didn't say what they would be.
So that's the thing that matters, because the gear is aimed at end of heroic item level. So you're thinking 437, 444. You're then thinking, what about aspect crests? What about the new myth track? Or will it be just shy of that?
I'm assuming then they're dropped on that then.
So yeah, they're saying that the gear is aimed at end of heroic raid. So this is something there's no optional hard mode, because the hard mode is in fact the default.
Which is very good.
Which is very good. And one of the reasons they feel okay about that is because the heroic version is coming out much sooner than normal in 10.1.7. And in terms of rewards, like there's that stuff about the gear. They're talking about trying some interesting thematic themes, which of course is the Paracausal fragment, trinket.
No, the Paracausal fragment trinkets are actually from the time rift rewards, not from the dungeon.
Oh shit, no, so they are, yeah.
Yeah, what they're talking about there specifically is there's a couple of different ones. There's I can only remember one, which is the one that you borrow a lot of time from your future self.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And it causes a paradox, and the paradox hunts you down and stuns you. But if you kill mobs, you keep the paradox away for a while. So you have to like race this thing coming to stun you for combat. And then there is something else. There is what is it? I can't remember. I know there's another one that I saw. And I was like, oh, that's a very smart trinket. I really like the way they're playing with these to make them feel like interesting loot by themselves.
You can also get skins for your dragons that make them look like they're infinite flight dragons.
Yeah,
so that's pretty sweet. And an infinite tears hammer is something that can drop as a cosmetic reward.
Good.
Of course, that reminds us of, you know, your Tusks of Manaroth, your whatever Argus's big scythe was, Agramar's
Side of the
sword.
Unmaker and Teshalak. I still don't have a Teshalak. Man, I don't know if I ever said this. One of our friends got Teshalak and the blue and the red scythe on one run of Mythic and Taurus.
Who was it?
It was Tom. And the chance of that happening is
He's got the
so unbelievably minuscule. It's hilarious.
and the thing for Blizzard is like he has the insane achievement.
Yeah.
So he would have just done that for years.
Yeah.
Blizzard, you have lost some serious game time.
Yeah, don't tell them that. Jesus Christ. No, it's fine. Anyway, I haven't got a red scythe. I've got the blue scythe, but I don't have Teshalak, and that's what I want. Yeah. Anyway, yes.
That'd be kind of fun to go out and grind.
No, it's not.
Pop in a Mythic and Taurus with like 1 or 2 people. Fun.
Right. That's fun once or twice. But the bosses they're just things you knock over and hit. That's not fun. None of that is fun for me. I don't like any of that.
Yes. No, you see, I would always, you know, soloing Mythic Legion, I always found to be like quite hard because like the boss actually did hit enough.
Yeah,
you'd have to fall over.
No, you just one shot them like.
We are so much more powerful. You know what? Maybe I'll do that and do a video. Who knows? We'll see. Because that stuff's got legacy loot mode activated, which does mean that like your chances are certainly pretty decent. Right, next then, group small content, otherwise known as small group content, because I should say the words the right way around. So, they've talked about how in long-form content, they want to continue to look for new ways to keep the experience fresh. And one of the major parts of this that's already been highlighted is the Infinite Dragonflight Gauntlet. It's a non-combat moment, but a fun twist on the normal gameplay. I think that the gauntlet looks really cool. I did see the Wowhead tweet, and I love looking at the comments to Wowhead tweets. A lot of them don't
Sorry
like.
to hear that.
A lot of them basically just want rewards and don't actually want any game to be in the game.
That is the vast majority of the player base of World of Warcraft.
That is depressing and true. Anyway, I think the gauntlet looks really cool.
Yeah,
it seems like you got to learn the timings of the things, and you'll feel like quite a master if you do it right, or like learn the behavior more than the time.
Learn the behavior, yes. I think it's not easy, but it's simple.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of you're going so fast, you kind of get greedy.
And they're putting more like moments of variety to just sort of shake the experience up for people.
Yeah, this is good.
And then when designing individual mechanics like the find the fake Chromie during Morty's encounter, they're trying to come up with new ways for players to react to situations differently than familiar ones like, dare I say it, dodge the swirly.
They're,
Do you know what my favorite part of Sarkareth is?
it's the swirlies landing on the
Glitter
glitter surge.
Glitter surge comes in, you drop your barrier, and your barrier is full of swirlies, and then like half the people die.
Yeah, because there's, in our case, there's like 12 people inside an AMZ, which is in the middle of a barrier. And then there's swirlies covering the entire of the inside of the AMZ. And because there's so many bodies, you can't see the swirlies whatsoever. And then you die and you just wipe and you're like, cool. And then everyone's like, well, we should have dodged the swirlies, but if we dodged, we couldn't see the swirlies, and also they would have been we wouldn't be inside the barrier, so the damage might have killed us anyway. Basically, swirlies suck. But I think to talk about this a little bit and how the mechanics felt, how do I describe this? So there are two ways that being the people I play World of Warcraft with largely discuss any raid mechanics, and they're either straight stolen from FF, or they're not. Those are it. That's the binary, right?
What a very simple world.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything's just fucking pre-packaged and easy.
yeah. And there is stuff in here that is straight out of FF in a beautiful way. We're like, that's an FF mechanic. Beautiful, golden, fantastic. Good. And then there's also stuff that would never fly in an FF game in a good way. Let's go. Sweet.
Okay.
In the sense that this is unique and not something that's in their fairly limited design toolkit. And you can tell it's like the encounter designer going, what are we doing? Here's some. We'll put a load of hats on Morchi, and the one you're supposed to hit's the one without a hat. Or like, so I have to literally look at the character models and see if one of them doesn't have a hat. That's cool. That's actually really cool. It's not incredibly complicated or anything, but it is like, it's because you've got a limited period of time to pick the right one. Kind of, I mean, it is obviously you go, well, is that not like your woman, I can't remember her name, in Scrollomance? Or like what's his name? I'm not good with names sometimes, it seems. What's your man in Notharian's Lair? The rock boy who goes in the rock and then find the boy under the cup. Whatever, find the ball under the cup mechanic. That thing.
Yep, near the disc boys.
Yeah. So there's a couple of those, but it's like that again, but they take it a little further. There's a couple of mechanics that are very much, oh yeah, that is actually really cool and interesting. Especially the Iridacron fight. The Iridacron fight is very good. It's not like, oh, this is big brain design. It's just, this is really like simple and to the point, and the core conceit of it is more interesting than something they've done in a while, where you have someone else you're playing with. That's very good, very good. So I think it's a very good dungeon. And I can see where they're like, hey, we're trying to have interesting like discussions over what mechanics we can do now. And I think it's them pushing the boat out. I imagine it like the next raid won't be as interesting as this, but I still see them going, okay, well, this is our chance to have fun. This is our chance to play with what we're doing. They don't do it in every fight. There are a couple fights that are like, oh, this is a World of Warcraft dungeon fight. Yeah, no problem, no worries. But it is like, they're clearly trying. They're clearly pushing the boat out where they can, which I think is fantastic and very fun.
Man, good shit.
Yeah, it's a good dungeon.
I'll look forward to that. And they did talk a little bit just about mega dungeons, mini raids, how they sort of think about that, where
Yeah, this will be a rough one to pug. This will be a rough one
See,
to
the thing is,
pug.
that's
Like,
in so many ways a good sign.
it's a good sign. Yeah,
It's a good sign of the quality of the content.
yeah.
But of course, you always rub up against that thing of like pugging is the way that so many people play the game.
It's the awful problem they have where they continually have to go, do we baby our players or do we present them a challenge? You know, is it the case of, do we put an obstacle for them to jump over? What if they can't jump over it and hit their head and cry? And that's what's going to happen a lot, especially in Mythic, especially because there's rewards and stuff. People are going to want this. You're like, there will be a lot of complaining of this dungeon being too hard. There will be a lot of it.
Interesting.
There will be a shit ton of it. Not just because it's too hard number-wise, but also because there's literally mechanics that people will not be able to do because they require you to be engaged with what you're seeing on screen, and also, the kind of gaming problem, the kind of gaming skill set and solution puzzle solving that a lot of World of Warcraft players who aren't otherwise gamers don't inherently have. And this is the issue you have where you have someone like, I'm not going to say any names, but I know there's a couple of encounter designers on like Twitter and stuff who are very clearly big gamers, and they very clearly have inspirations coming from different genres and stuff. And you can see when those make their way in, and people are like, okay, well, they are coming from the thing of, I'm making a video game, so anything within the realm of video games mechanically is pretty like well founded in terms of what's in our design toolkit. Oh, we want these kind of problems, these kind of like spatial reasoning, stuff like that. Been able to see where something's going, and like bullet hell kind of stuff. Or like, bullet is going at this speed. I need to not be there. And now you don't literally calculate like, you don't go, well, I need to move this direct way for 3.2 seconds to get out, but you do kind of have that in like that subconsciously calculates, and you go, okay, well, I need to move to get out of that, or I need to be here at that point. There's a lot more of that this time. That's a little bit more thinking ahead as opposed to dodge swirly, or be here at a scripted point. A lot more of it is, you have to spatially reason. I think people will die a shit ton. Manifested time-wise is going to kick so much ass.
For something with 5 players, because sometimes that stuff can like break down and be chaos in a larger player camp, but for something more like it's intimate, perfect. Like 5, I think it's perfect.
It is perfect, and I was literally laughing when I was doing it because I was having that much fun. Because I'm not used to having that much fun in World of Warcraft. I'm used to having fun, just not the visceral video game playing kind.
Yeah, no, I got you. Right, Augmentation Evoker. So there was a interview about this. It was Preheat and Graham Berger. Yes, about the Augvoker, which there's the original video, of course, and then we just pasted Wowhead's and pasted the Wowhead over here because they typed out a summary of it. So I think we'll just go through like the main highlights just to see what's up. So people noticed that they didn't fully explore the Black Dragonflight in Evoker, so wanted to push the aspect further.
And they didn't make it a tank. How brave. Yeah.
It came about that quickly.
That's the other thought I had there. I
How
was
were they
thinking,
able to do that? Especially considering they had they had fucking reworks, they did a lot. What?
They clearly have a decent few class people on the go. Like,
if so, that's actually impressive.
Yeah, well, I assume this is not from launch. I assume this is from like early beta or early alpha stuff.
Still.
Where they're like, "Where's all the Black Dragonflight spells?" No,
I guess I'm surprised that it didn't immediately go on to like, we have the thing we need to ship Dragonflight onto the next expansion. That's surprising. As for why a DPS, they wanted to fulfill the promise of buffing your allies and increasing your damage without disrupting the dynamic of dungeons and raids.
In other words, dancer.
This big thing here, then, potential for more support specs. They're interested to see the community reaction. And if there's more support for this playstyle, it's something they'll seriously discuss.
Yeah, I am like...
Bard confirmed! There, I'll make that the title.
It's Tinker confirmed.
No, it's Bard
more
confirmed.
People will care about Tinker. But yes, I think this is interesting because I'm a little bit worried on... A little bit being worried. Yeah. Oh dear. No, I'm a little bit worried about how people will take the Augvoker, because so much of it depends on the implementation of the combat log and stuff. If that makes it in time, fully featured, Because as far as I can tell,
got to know that.
Because I was watching details whenever I was doing the playing Ogvoker on PTR in the Mega Dungeon. I was like, I'm doing no damage, and we're all scaled, and I wasn't playing very well, but it's like, okay, I am barely doing more damage than the tank here. Okay, is that intentional? Because I'm giving loads of damage to the other DPS because that's how my spec works. Is that intentional or is it not intentional? And it's the case of, in my head, I'm like, I literally don't know. And so much of it is down to the user experience of that. Because if the Ogvoker takes all the damage that they give to other people, and then they just like, okay, your bar is you did all this damage because you give to other people. And you're like, okay, well, that's part of that makes sense. So I'm actually like third on DPS, even though my real damage is nothing. But I'm doing so much via giving, in this case, like John's smacking people with Jarun, and I'm getting a portion of that damage because I'm giving them some main stat. Okay, sweet, that's great. Fantastic, I love that. But if if people don't see that, or they don't have some visual representation of it, they'll just be like, what's going on? And I think it's just, is it going to be there? Is the add-on going to support it? Is Warcraft log going to support it? And obviously, if the combat log stuff is there, and Blizzard are like, okay, here's the information for the damage dealt.
Yeah.
Add-ons can take it. That'll be perfect and fine, and everyone will do the right thing with it because people are smart enough to do that. And Warcraft logs does it all the time with the different DPS measurements across the NFF. So you go, okay, well, and the same way they show like, now they didn't do it with parses for PI, but it's like there's an asterisk on a ranking.
Yes, yeah.
So you go, okay, well, this may have been 100 parse, but it had PI. The one below it that was like didn't have PI, you could argue probably better. We can't literally know that, but you can argue that, and you go, okay, well, that's fine. And that's my big problem, where they need to actually figure that out. Because as much as Anthony says, nah, folks need to be weaned off the DPS meter. That's like saying humans need to be weaned off food and water. Like, that's not going to happen. There's no chance that ever happens. People always want that metric. And it's not even a case of like, well, do they need it? It's like, no, it's a natural thing. People will want that forever.
Yeah.
So it's like they'll need to get that right, because so many people will not understand Ogvoker, bottom of the DPS meter, they're bad, kick.
That'll be a real problem.
And then they will not invite any other Ogvoker, because in their head, Ogvoker is bad. And if they see that personally, it's not going to happen. We aren't playing a spreadsheet. We're playing a fucking spreadsheet. I wish we weren't, but we are. That's how it is. We're playing a spreadsheet because other people are playing the spreadsheet.
It's a tricky
and that's how it is.
chicken and egg thing. But
it really is, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's out in the wild. That is how a lot of people play the game, and you just can't. Yeah. But if you're not playing the spreadsheet, you're probably having, at least you're having a different type of fun. Because the spreadsheet is legitimately extremely fun to many.
Yeah.
Certainly, as a ex-DPS player, like, there's bits of me that totally misses the spreadsheet. Yeah, just the number big.
Yeah, I mean, literally the spreadsheet is part of, and some of it's gameplay as well, but I'm not particularly spreadsheetly aligned in terms of how I play video games, but my spreadsheet number was bigger last tier. It's smaller this tier because I'm playing Feral and our single target's a bit ass, and they're only fixing it in 10.1.5, which is, after the tier's basically over for, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm like, I had less fun, because I wasn't drastically destroying everyone else like I should have been. Adjusted for feral damage and like how much gear I got. Like, I geared myself to the tits, and I wasn't deleting the shit out of everyone else. And I'm like, well, that doesn't feel nice. That doesn't feel nice. Sure, we got the boss all, but it's like that wasn't just, I need to be better than people. It's like, well, I wasn't rewarded for my things, and the spreadsheet is the interface in which I feel rewarded for my effort. Because the victory happens one way or the other, but the number on the bar in the corner of my screen is the literal feedback of, okay, so that's me. I put in the work and my bar is bigger.
Well, now that
There we go.
everybody's got a glimpse into hell,
Yeah.
he actually did talk about combat logs,
Yeah.
saying that combat log hooks are in progress, but they're massive undertaking. It's quite new for WoW. Several are already working and need to be attributed to the Augmentation Evoker. Many more are coming, and they'll be seeing more of that this week. So that's kind of interesting.
This is my concern.
They want to have the bulk of them out in 10.1.5, but they're looking to try to improve beyond that.
That's my concern. Augvoker might be ready. Is the combat log ready? Because all it takes is the distance between 10.1.5 and 10.1.7 to kill the idea of support in so many people's heads.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it turns out that we're reporting correctly now and accurately, and Augvoker slaps, it'll still be like I guess the timing will cut the initial wave of hell yeah, I'm excited.
Well, we'll see. To talk about how it's sort of being framed here for LFG and PvP, because I think LFG's where this is an issue. It's not a problem in a guild, really, unless your guild's full of shitheads and it's legitimately tuned to be bad.
A little bit of that, I would say. The way more guilds than you expect would have these issues from being spreadsheety, I would say. I like saying it's full of shitheads is like, I feel like that's a little exaggeratory, but yeah.
I don't think it's exaggerated.
I mean, there'll be a lot of people will be like gently socially pressured out of playing Augvoker if it's bad. And if it's bad because it's being reported wrong or differently, then that's a pretty major issue here, I think.
I imagine that by having most of the hooks in, that probably won't be a humongous problem. Like, surely they know that it's dire if it happens like that.
Yeah, and the fact that they can't say, sorted lads, all good. The fact of going, the bulk will be out, has me a little bit of, just a little bit of like, come on, this is a perfect shot, don't miss it. Because I would really love to see this like shootout and everyone go, Augvoker is amazing, fantastic, we love it. Bring an Augvoker most of the time if you want to, because the reporting's perfect. Sweet, lovely. But
so on some of their performance, they say that the current balance of personal damage versus buffing is still to be iterated on, but the plan is having 2 Augvokers queued in the same dungeon will be successful. If you're doing a plus 20, then having multiple augmentation evokers probably won't be successful, but again, yeah, it's like that most of the time in WoW. Augvoker's share of damage to buffing will likely be shifted fairly significantly in PvP. The gameplay is just too different, but the tools exist to adjust that. For utility defensive, basically they say the group utility is essential to the new role to make it appealing. Really Defensives, they'll keep an eye on for tuning, but overall they're happy with the package. And compared to Devastation, which I suppose will hone in how much utility is important, that it just says it's about balance, having the tools to make adjustments, especially for the differences in dungeons and raids. Basically, it's a concern. They say they'll be vigilant. We will see.
Yeah, it's like that one thing of the fear of them running no healer, because augmentation is just enough of an off healer that you could run like, you could run Paladin, Shaman, Druid, Augvoker. And you're like, okay, as in your 4 DPS and then your thing. That's probably not going to be a major concern, but it's like, you know how meta shifts can happen. Because I mean, currently the thing is, oh, well, you're doing high keys with 4 DPS, but they're all insanely good, and that's not representative. It's like, does that ultimately become representative because augmentation can talent into their core rotation, having healing be a part of it? Does take away from the personal damage, but the point is that they can spend their essence on Emerald Blossom, and with these talents, spending it in Emerald Blossom keeps the buffs up. So it's like, oh, you are kind of going for a slight more hybrid-y thing here. So it could be a potential problem. Maybe, but it's a case of like, I have to kind of trust them largely on balance here, where they're doing a better job than they ever have before in most ways. And I'm assuming that like this would be preaching to the choir in a large way of, yeah, they know all these problems for sure. It's just a matter of, have they been afforded the time to actually get the first shot important? Because that's where we're at. Like, my fear is iteration. They've been very good at iterating and solving problems, but their first time hit rate is still pretty low.
Yes.
And that's the problem with first impressions count so much for a support spec.
One thing that will matter there is their personal damage versus that comes from their buffs, and that is one of the topics here. So having the majority of benefit be based on your allies' performance, and your buffs on your allies is actually their target for augmentation. It is support in name and reality. 20% of your damage being from your person does sound lower than they would prefer, though.
Horrible for soloing.
They still want players to be successful outdoors, and automatically buffing players around you, even if you're not partied, is part of that. Having more straightforward, simple rotation is intentional. Picking allies to buff, position and cooldown management, that is actually the depth of this class, not their DPS rotation. So really, it's going to be more of a DPS that plays like a healer in terms of your fingers are doing a default thing that's very simple. As filler, and then you're focusing on the rest?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. It doesn't have any healer-like stuff. Outside of the, like, you've got a button that you'll always want to give the tank.
So will somebody have their raid frames? Like, will somebody, because like, if you're healing, your unit frames are generally going to be in a different position. Will somebody be using normal DPS unit frames or healer unit frames if they're playing this?
There are going to be two kinds of people. There are going to be people who, well, actually, okay, I'll answer the question more straightforward. DPS uniframes.
Okay.
Because the thing is, your Ebb and Might, which is your core main stat buff, automatically goes to 4 people. And it prioritizes the strongest DPS allies you've got. Then you've got one button that you'll always want to give to the tank, just as like almost like an Earth Shield kind of thing. And it does damage that, when the tank, it gives them some armor, portion of your armor, I believe, then it auto attacks on that target explodes. So they kind of like this basically thorns and armor that you give to them. It has stacks you replenish once it's out. Then there's also a button that is you press this every, I think it's like 15 seconds, and it basically gives an ally a load of versatility and gives them a chance to echo their attacks for like 15% damage or healing. And that's those are the two abilities you'll want to target, but they also have automatic targeting attached. So actually, I'm not sure I don't think the tank one does. I think you'll want to like target that on your tank, but that's a case of you can macro that. You can macro that very easily, especially if you're in a consistent like group, or you can have something along those lines to sort that out. And then the versatility buff that you give people specifically is a crit. Oh yeah, I'm thinking of something else actually, but yeah, it's crit and every 12 seconds. Yeah, so you want to give someone that. And it auto targets if you don't have a target, or you target yourself, it'll just go to someone automatically. So if you don't give a shit, you can just press it. But you can also give it to someone specifically. But that's going to be a case of if you're a raider, you're going to have a macro to go to the person who skills best with crit, in the same way that you by default PI Luke.
Yeah.
On that timer because
PI with DK.
Yeah, because he's the unholy DK, so it's most beneficial to the group. You'll have 2 people. One person will just press it and not give a shit, and the other person will press it and it'll be macro to the person who needs it the most. So it's like, there's almost none of those kind of considerations. There is the consideration of like, if you Emerald Blossom, you'll maybe think about healing a little bit more, but that's kind of it. It's just a very simple version of a Devastation Evoker and how it feels with all those other buttons you press to keep it up. That's fundamentally it, really. It's just an easy Devoker, but most of the same abilities. It does have its own. Cool. It does have its own kind of cool stuff like time skip and
I guess on some of that, he said that they wanted to avoid that like micromanaging sort of group aspect.
Yep, that's it.
And that most things are basically auto targeted or proximity as a solution.
Yeah, that's it.
So I guess it does push it more to gameplay fantasy.
Yeah.
Than like overtly. You are now playing this like you're just your group's buff shaman.
Yep.
Which I think had happened at a point in the game's deep past.
Yeah, you are playing an easier Devastation Evoker with the fantasy of buffing your allies with your core mechanic. And you do get to see the big numbers on your screen going, you've just given this person like 1200 inch. You're like, yeah, that's nice, let's go. But yeah.
I think the rest of the way we need to get it into as much. That they seem to be going whole hog into the power coming from the augmentations, though. That's cool. Yep. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited they're trying something new. It feels like a bit of a risk. And that's just what we want to see. Okay. Little bit quickly for the PTR content. There's some neat stuff here, actually, especially if you want to get the Tusks of Manaroth. So, as for what's happening, the amulet is finally gone.
That's what you like to see. That's what you like to see. Yeah. Very happy to see the end of it, because now I get to, if I want to play a new character, I don't have to go get the fucking amulet again. I just get to play the game.
I can see that. I feel like the Scaravolts is so wasted.
That's true,
because it
but
was such a legit cool feature compared to the likes of Sniff and Seeking.
well, here you go.
Oh, here I go.
No, here you go. Right. Would you rather it be wasted and no one play it, or would you rather people play it without actually giving a shit about it because it's all for the
definitely
amulet?
wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I think that they should work out other rewards for it and have it be a evergreen feature for the expansion that people can do. You know, maybe you can earn some gold, do whatever the fuck. I don't know. Get some rep tokens, get something. Like they're okay to leave the 10% reputation buffs in that take place in the Forbidden Reach. Why not continually give us a way to get those keys? Because getting Scaravault keys right now, not fun.
No.
You just gotta go do a bunch of rares with loads of health. Like, rares that are firmly for multiple people, not one. So the actual change here is just that the effectiveness of all stones is being reduced by 40% for the damage dealing ones.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to be buffing people who, like, some of their performance relied on those stones. But overall, that's basically that's basically good.
Yes.
Interesting. Apparently, many specs are still using the Seal of Diurnus Chosen.
Yeah. Yeah, because it scales so well for some God only knows
And
why.
ongoing problems like the Sylvanas Dagger in Shadowlands, sometimes just those items from the end of the last raid. To move on then, Quantum Mounts. So last time we talked about the Quantum Armor, which just give you a random bit of armor from the past. The Quantum Mount, actually, somebody in Mr. GM's party when he was on the PTR got Midnight's Eternal Reigns, which is from Legion Karazhan. So it seems like the Reigns of the Quantum Courser is just a random either is a random horse or it's a random mount.
Yep. And until we until we see a lot of it dropping in the wild, we won't know what the limitations are.
Yeah.
Unless I don't imagine Blizzard announcing the limitations. I imagine they'll go, have fun with it and see what you get. But also, I think there is
it dropped from the final boss of the Infinite Dungeon.
Yeah, there was one thing that's not here was Mr. GM said that he's been running it quite a bit on the PTR. I'm not sure if that's all day, every day, or a couple times, but it seems he called it super rare in that he's only ever seen one. So it might be a fairly, this is actually, we wanted to give the boss a mount, and we thought we could do something cool and give it a mount that isn't a mount. Seemingly. So this isn't going to be do this every week. All week for your role, but it could end up being like a fun thing of, hey, this mount will be a random horse. That's it. It'll be Invincible or Midnight's Eternal Reigns or all the BFA horses. That wouldn't work as forward, but yeah. No, cool. So our next thing then, Warlock pet customization, customizable, and it's really good. Looking good, way better than I thought.
Yeah, really good. Loads of different pets: Voidwalkers, Felguards, Doomguards, Infernals, and Syat. Yeah. Which means Incubus and Succubus. You can change their colors. You can change what ones you want. It's a really good feature. Now,
Why do they call it Syad? Because obviously it's Ubus. Could have called Ubus.
Which bullshit. There you go.
Yeah. Which version of Ubus do you want today?
So, how do you get these though? Because you don't have all of them. You do have some of them by default, but there are grimoires created by the Inscription profession. They drop from Time Rifts, Legion Class Order Hall, Legion Invasion Points, and Imp Vendor and Winterspring, TBC and Legion Time Walking. And also in Dire Maul, Karazhan, Cathedral of the Eternal Light, and Antaurus. So these are actually coming from truly lots of different places from a few expansions. That's brilliant.
Demon places?
Yeah.
Where am I going to find demons? In the demon places.
Warlocks get all the cool shit. We can quickly go through a few.
Green Fire 2. This is Green Fire 2. I will not stand for it.
There you go. Quickly start commenting under Wowhead articles and tweets. There's plenty of, you can sort of quickly go through the images that are there. So there are some of the older, for imps, you can go for the older.
Goes hard.
Yeah, the older imps of a few different styles, or you can go for the new model of imp.
Yeah, there's recolors of the original as well.
Oh,
yeah, so this is recolors of the current one, I should say, rather. That one's pretty. Oh, that's very. Oh, it's your man. So very good. And then the new model. Oh yeah, the satire looking boy.
Man, the new Fell Hunter. Once you get down to that, the new Fell Hunter is really nice.
Recolors, you can imagine what colors look like.
Yeah.
Open a picture in Photoshop and use a color balance.
So that's really nice then. For Voidwalkers, there's the old model. Then there's the Grimoire of the Void Lord model, which is a few different versions of that. Sorry, internet's being a little bit slow and weird.
It's fine. We have a solution incoming.
And then, of course, there's the... Yes, we do. Yes, we've got new internet arriving. It will be 180 up. Up to, theoretically, maybe in the fullness of time, if we're lucky and the wind is blowing in the right direction. Yeah. So, plenty of those. Different syads for...
That's a nice one.
Oh,
There's a naked boy.
Naked boy. Speaking of those, we, of course, have... I suppose they're not really naked,
These are where these were... I mean, close enough. Fucking hell. Like...
Yeah.
Ah, they converted a glyph. Wow, they converted a glyph. Imagine they did that for the Observer.
That would break the game. For your Doom Guards, it's like your pre-walled, your post-walled model. Infernal, again, is just your Infernal model. Fel Guards is the... Oh!
Fuck, I love the Shivara.
Yeah, very good.
Shivara, great. Fel Guards, you know them. Oh, you've got... Oh, sweet. I'm sure they'll add more. Also, you can... His weapons on the thing. Grid post.
Oh, so was, yeah.
Yeah. Infernals? Yo, 2 Infernals? Oh, red Infernal, nice. For those people who don't have green fire yet.
Yeah, so... I mean, basically, there's not much really else to say. It's just a really nice feature.
It is nice to me.
Yeah, that's good. It makes the fantasy of a Warlock better, and certainly Warlocks, so if you want to solo DPS, they're a damn safe bet, are usually treated well.
Tasty.
Yeah, the next thing. You can solo queue. You can go back to the Shadowlands.
Yay!
Yeah, now you can go back to the Shadowlands.
That makes me want to go back to the Shadowlands in real life.
Oh. Ah, yes, from whence we came. Well, Steve would probably correct me in that, but anyway. Yeah, you can go to Shadowlands LFR. Good for getting those transmogs if you really want to go back there for some reason.
Doesn't have legacy loot though, so... Lol.
Yep, doesn't have legacy loot mode. It will be just like you're doing it in the Shadowlands expansion itself, where, you know, you don't get a full group worth of stuff drop. But the bit that matters, the cool bit, there is a skip to Garrosh in Siege of Orgrimmar, which means that you can farm your Tusks of Manaroth more easily, and this pairs with there being a HD Gorehowl being added to the new Mega Dungeon that likely drops from Gromash.
Yeah. Which is interesting because imagine if it... Because this is very clearly a fundamentally orc weapon, and orcs will want this. But if you're an orc, you don't fight Grom.
Oh yeah, well maybe it won't.
So I am assuming it'll drop from this encounter.
Oh, yeah.
In general.
Oh, actually, a source hasn't been given.
Yeah, I'm assuming it'll drop from the encounter on either side. But I thought that was really funny.
God, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, orcs can't get the orc weapon. That'd be good. But yeah.
Ah, dear.
And the new Brim as well. Because Hollow's End is getting a revamp.
I'd love... Yeah, we don't know what that looks like.
We haven't a clue, because we probably won't find out until it's actually out, to be honest. Because that's the way Blizzard do things now, which is great, to be honest. Yeah, that's cool. Good stuff.
Oh, dear, yeah.
Hat. There you go. You can be a hat.
You can be
Sorry,
a
you
hat.
can't be a hat. You can have a hat. And you're going to look at that. You can look like you belong in the...
You can...
the
Peaky Blinders. Is that what you're going to do?
No, the... What was it? In Tier Guard Sound, the bit where you go up to the posh Brits. That place. You can be one of the posh Brits.
You can be a
Tier
true
Guard.
Brit.
Yeah, you could be a cold tier and slap one of them on, go watch the footy. Unreal.
Yeah. Or of course you can...
Jacob Rees-Mogg, transmog, let's
you
go.
can... Do you mean a Jacob Rees-Mogg?
How did I not see that? Jesus, yes. A Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Yeah, but they didn't add the like super slender or thin boys from Culturas.
Oh, damn.
So it can't be a Jacob Rees-Mogg, sadly. I know that's what everybody in chat, especially all the people who are confused and don't know what a Jacob Rees-Mogg is. They're all very confused.
Chat, good job. You're all on the ball. Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock Holmes, Warlock Holmes. Perfect. Fantastic. British organs solving mysteries. Brilliant. Fantastic.
Oh, doubly fit if you buy the tendies that you get that for. What's this Uniframe portrait? Oh, well, I'm just assuming.
This is Secret.
Oh,
this
it's Secrets of Azeroth.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stupid. Never mind.
Yeah, man can't read. There you go.
Yeah.
So you'll do secrets.
Secrets of Azeroth being a new holiday.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that we're getting this hat is certainly telling us something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's next? Replace unit for... Oh! Interesting. I mean, I won't use that, but that's a nice accessibility change.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I think the add-ons, I've done that before and I don't like it, so yeah. But still.
Oh yeah, somebody might though.
Yeah. Well, I didn't just mean I don't like it. Why are they adding it to the game? The waste of dev time and resources. The way
Right, dear God.
that's not for me. No.
So in other things, what dungeons, Matt? What dungeons do we want to see in season 3?
None of
And
them.
can we just go? I'm just going to go here.
None of them.
Okay, so the short list. Oh, we have to rank dungeons into good or bad.
Oh, this is easy.
All right, Ataldazar.
I'm not gonna do it yet. Oh, oof, oof.
I have no memory. I basically
Atal-
didn't play much BFA. Fuck that expansion.
This is weird because I didn't do an awful lot of M plus and BFA.
we could just.
Let me think.
There we go. We just closed BFA.
Yeah, hang on. No, because Ataldazar, I'm gonna have to put that into good because it was short and I liked it.
All right, King's Rest.
King's Rest. What do you think?
Barely remember it.
Right. So I'm gonna put
Happened
this
in a big temple.
The fact that this is good and bad is really annoying me because I think Dakar realized that the last time it was full on, we were all just hypercentrists about these. So I'm gonna have to put King's Rest into good because
Matt,
it was interesting.
Every dungeon in the game ever is here.
That will speed up then.
All right.
Yeah, so
Operation Mechagon Mega, good.
Good.
Shrine of the Storm, slow and bad feel. Siege of Borealis, cool. Temple of Sothralis, boring. Oh fuck, look at him go. The Motherlode, slow and boring.
I like the Motherlode, but I'll accept it being bad.
I don't have any feeling
People
about
say
Waycrest Manor, but I'm gonna say it's bad.
People say King's Rest bad. You're wrong. Shut up. It was cool, and especially cool because
Told Gore bad.
of all the bad parts. Told the Gore's good. No, it's not as bad. What am I talking about?
You got that-
Sorry.
Get the
Sorry, I had a moment there.
Okay, Black Rock Hold, good.
Waycrest was cool, but it was bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Black Hole, Black Rook, good.
Good,
Cathedral of the Eternal Light, showing it
Bad,
right,
bad.
good. No, it's good. Overruled.
No, it's-
Next dungeon.
Okay, right.
Dark Heart Thicket, good.
Good, yeah.
Maw of Souls, good.
Avishar, good. Maw of
Return
Souls,
to
good.
Karazhan, good. Take everyone to lower again and fuck them up.
Yeah.
Seed of the Triumvirate, bad.
There we
The
go.
Archway, bad.
Done.
Vault of the World, yeah.
That's,
All right.
Yep.
What?
Legion, good expansion. Let's
Let's go. Auchindoun, good.
Oh, Alkdoon's fucking super slap.
Grim
Where's the
Rail,
super
good. Iron Docks, boring. I mean, it's an easy key, but to me, it didn't have it. Everbloom, it's cool, but like the way its density and pools work, I never enjoyed it when I played it, even though I thought it was cool.
Nah, I'm gonna say it's good. I'm gonna say good because it was good. Because the bosses were good.
Skyreach, good.
Skyreach, 100% good, man.
Ubers,
Pretty good. Ubers has to go in the bad.
Fair.
It had some good mechanics, but it was all indoors. Fuck you, camera up your ass.
So if there was another one called Real Good, that's where
Yeah.
Auchindoun and Skyreach would go.
Yeah, same with most of this list, to be honest.
Mists of Pandaria.
Yeah, this is
Siege of
easy.
Nushel
This is
Temple,
so
good.
easy. Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
Gate of the Setting Sun,
good.
good.
No, bad.
Oh,
Bad because the last boss fucking sucked.
Mogushan Palace, good.
Just about.
Okay.
It was very close to bad because. Why was it close? Because the fucking downstairs boss in the treasure room was.
Yeah, I was a bit ass, but the rest of it
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, Scarlet Halls, good because of Scarlet
Yeah,
Monastery.
Scarlet
It's
Monastery
spelled
also.
wrong. Fuck's
Oh,
sake.
Sally Whitemane.
Yeah,
So it's
I'm
good.
gonna fix that so we don't look like dickheads.
Stormstar Brewery, I'm going to say
Good. No.
Bad.
Bad. It's
Shadowpan
very
Monastery.
very painful for me to give Stormside Brewery bad, but I did it again in Time
Yeah.
Walking recently, and the mechanics were kind of ass.
Shadowpan.
Shadowpan is
good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Man, look at this.
Good expansions. Right, Cataclysm.
Right, what's
End
Cataclysm?
Times.
Oh, I think we're going to be a bit too quick for chat, but yeah.
End Times are good.
End Time is good, but with an asterisk that it's really fucking weird.
Black Rock Caverns is Break Your Bones Upon My Body.
Break your balls upon my body.
That's good. Dead Mines.
Goes into the bad because it's shit.
Revamped Dead. Yeah,
I think Dead Mines is very cool. However, I do not think it's a good dungeon.
And I do not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think it would be good Mythic Plus.
Oh no, Stonecore. No, Blackrock Caverns. No, Blackrock Caverns bad. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's that shithole.
Stonecore good.
Yeah, that's that shithole. That's the one with.
Stonecore good.
That's the one with the lava boss you drag through, and the one with the dog, and the one with the last boss. Yeah, that was kind of. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't very good.
Grimbatal.
Grimbatal's
Good.
Fucking bad.
Fuck you. Grimbatal's good.
I
remember everyone was being a fucking weak ass little wimp back in the day. I mean, the people I played were like, no, it's just Grimbatal. It's fun. You just do the mechanics right, and they were fun.
No, because the dragon riding bit's gimmicky. The first boss is fucking doesn't exist. Boring as hell. Second boss, boring as hell. Is there even a third boss, or is that the last one? And then the ogre's boring? Where you, the mechanic is, I'm going to get inside the circle. There you go, done. Great. No.
This Cataclysm Circle was a big thing in those days.
It was literally one circle and people kept dying in it. And I'm like, fucking, did you ever hear of like, the ground's on fire, one bit's not on fire? Like, don't stand the fire, easy. Sure, the fire's purple, but
I'll
like...
yield. Halls of Origination.
Dog.
Yeah.
What's Halls?
It's like, I have good memories of it, but I don't know. And also, like, if it was brought into Mythic Plus, it would be very long.
Right, so...
I feel.
I haven't really been thinking of if these were Mythic Plusified, because that requires half a rework. I immediately just thought Halls of Origination Mythic Plus version would be kind of sick, because the last boss of those places is actually really fun mechanically. But it's going to go into bad because it's awkward.
Hour of Twilight.
Hour of Twilight. What the fuck was that again? Was that the one where you're on the... No, that's Well of Eternity.
Is that the one that ended with Benedictus?
Yeah. That was cool, but it was kind of ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put it in ass. Yeah. Lost City, the Tol'vir.
What?
That was the one, you have the thing and the big boy at the end, and he's the big lightning man.
No, that's...
No, he's another big lightning man.
Is that what that's called? Why did I... Sorry, my brain's gone wrong. Yeah, Nah. It goes into bad, and I'll tell you why. Because that last boss where you knocked about all over the place and wait for the boys to spawn, it's boring.
Throne of Tide's good. It's a bit out there, weird, cool.
Throne of Tide, outside of Neptulon's fight sucking, Throne of Tide's good.
I thought it was like cool scale wise, but yeah, mechanically no.
Yeah.
Well of Eternity, cool.
Literally, like, could be shit. Wins on cool factor.
Shadowfang Keep.
Yes. Yeah. It's so we get so little of that like working gothic kind of stuff.
ZA and ZG. I don't have much of a feeling.
Sorry for you Cataclysm fans.
Gone.
Sorry for you Cataclysm fans. They suck.
Next thing, Speed. Speed's the name of the game here.
Yep.
Ankh, the Old Kingdom, good.
Was it good?
I liked it. Azul,
it's good. Yeah,
good.
Azul, it's very boring. Was good.
Drak'Tharon Keep, good.
Gundrak, no.
Gundrak's the big snake, isn't it?
Gundrak's the one where you're in the inside doing the four boys. The.
You can catch you wink at that.
Yeah, DTK is the one where you're outside and you go fight the dinosaur, and the one where you get Drakaru.
Ooh.
Yeah, what's this?
I feel like they're both fine.
Yeah, fine, but
if it's been good and bad. Okay, Gundrak. I don't have a strong enough feeling about Gundrak.
It had the bad.
Fair.
Drak'Tharon Keep stays in good because of Necromancer boss, which was kind of shitty, but it was at least interesting.
Agreed. Halls of Lightning, good.
Halls of Lightning, good. Which is
Halls of Reflection. It's the one where you fight Loken at the end. It was the one Ratharok dungeon that actually could kill people.
That's good.
Halls of Reflection, good.
Oh yeah, that's well, we don't have to talk about this, do we? Like all these straight.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah. Well, has anyone done the Forge of Souls recently? The music in there is completely insane.
It's mad.
It doesn't belong in there whatsoever, and it's really fucking.
I know people won't like this, but I'm putting Calling of Stratholme in good. It'll never become a Mythic Plus dungeon, and I know people got frustrated for it, but for me it was just like, no, this is a slice of pure Warcraft I'm in.
Yeah, for sure.
So it gets to be there.
Yeah, I'd love to see
Halls of Stone.
Nah, dog shit.
Yeah. And I enjoyed Oculus, but I'm still gonna put it in dog shit.
I'm gonna say Nexus is good because Nexus is
Fair.
like it's pretty simple, but it's to the point. It's very clear and clean. You get little jumps and stuff.
Utgard Keep.
Utgard Keep.
Oh, I cannot separate nostalgia from these two. I see Pinnacle. I think gets to be a good.
Does it?
Yeah,
Yes, it
Pinnacle.
does, yeah, it
you
does,
got
yeah,
your
it does, yeah.
strafing run. You
Yeah.
know, Pinnacle's good.
Yeah, Pinnacle's good. Keep. I'm gonna say Keep is.
I really like.
I'm
doing
gonna
it.
have to say bad.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'm gonna say bad.
I would never.
No, wait,
be...
never mind. It's going good because I'm thinking of mod packs are good in there.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Right, TBC. This is where I'm going to be useless and you're going to be more useful. Oh my god, he wants us to do...
How do I remember half of these? Like, what the fuck? Right, let's see. Occanite Crypts.
Can we just close out of will never happen?
Yeah, no.
The most I can do from these is vibes. And if I was doing that, I would probably grab all of them other than the Zangermarsh ones and put them all on good.
All right,
Because I thought they were all cool.
so I'll do a first pass this real quick.
Okay.
Yep. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Blood Furnace goes. Yep. Yep. I'm thinking those three are they're feeling
Depends.
bad to me.
I like depends. I don't like the Underdog. I remember so little of Ramparts is good. It's just it's sort of out handy enough. Magister is good.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's a good
good.
boss.
It's good.
Let's see.
Fuck it, we'll be useless, and these will never make it into our
Ragnar,
final season.
Alcatraz, Shadow Lab. I'm gonna leave those. 'Cause I literally don't remember. I don't remember which one's which enough to say they're good or bad.
Right, Black Fathom Deeps, good. I always thought it was cool.
Yes.
Dire Maul, cool. Like none of these will ever become Mythic Plus
Nope.
dungeons.
Yeah, Normagon can fuck off forever.
Yep, fuck Normagon. Atal Hakar. I would like to put it in good just to troll people, but I think it probably doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Stratholm, good.
Yes.
Stockade's just, I think, look, Stockade, I'm just going to put it in good as like a fun little newbie dungeon. Same goes for Ragefire. Gets the gun good.
I would almost say Ragefire is bad after the rework.
I actually don't remember the rework. Oh, it's all catted up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bad. Wailing Caverns.
Good. Good. Free good. Free good. Freest good of all time.
Get people lost. Maradon.
Marathon. I'm dropping the bad. I really have never liked that place. I like the place, but the dungeon sucks.
Sulfurak, big win for me.
Yeah, ZF is really good in a load of different ways. Like it's
Fuck,
very
Razor
cool.
Fan Crawl. Like, that is a place I don't remember. Wasn't Horde.
RFK is trying to make sure I don't get confused with RFD. I can't remember. I'm gonna give it a good.
Screw the rest.
RFD is bad. Blackrock Depths free.
Yeah, okay, that's free.
LBRS free as well.
Yeah. So, to turn these into our tier list.
Oh my god. I didn't realize we had to
Now,
do this.
Matt,
Yep.
I'm going to put two things in.
Yeah. Easy. Free. Free.
Cathedral of the Eternal Night.
No.
I'm not going to put
mate.
any BFA or Shadowlands in here. Oh, Shadowlands, obviously not.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they're just like back to the fucking red place?
Yeah. And back to the what was it even
Back
called
to
again?
the Disney Vampire House.
What was it called? The Kyrian
The Spires of Ascension.
No, the other
The
one.
other one.
Oh, Spire's actually good.
Yeah.
The other one is the Necrotic Wake Dog.
Can we agree on Skyreach and Auchindoun?
Yes, of course we can.
I knew that would happen. Okay. We haven't taken anything from Mop,
Yeah.
right?
so-
No Mop things have made it in.
Yeah. If I were to pick, if you pick two. Oh no, those two are the free ones.
It's got to be Shadowpan Monastery.
Yeah. So
'Cause
I
that
guess.
feels like a capital D dungeon.
So how about we do it with some sort of structure
Okay.
where we each have one veto. You pick two and I pick two, and we each have one veto if we want to use it.
Oh, for the next four.
Yeah, thanks for you. If you want to pick your two.
Mauve Souls.
Yep. I'll take it. I'll accept it.
This is going to be such a good season. Because, of course, this is what it's going to be. Maw of Souls. I'm trying to think about the theme because this is going to be the Emerald Dream Patch, right?
I don't think
Unless the Emerald Dream Patch has a dungeon. Wouldn't that be crazy?
No, it wouldn't.
Nah,
No
well,
chance.
Oh, so
Yeah, it's very chocolate.
Dark Heart Thicket? I'm going to pick 2 from Legion.
Go for it. Maw Souls, Dark Heart Thicket. We'll figure mine out now shortly. Let me see. I'll see. Is anyone having fun in chat? Yeah, lower BRS was kind of meh. Anything that needs a 45-minute timer is DOA. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Yeah. Oh, let's see.
This is...
Hmm.
Even if the next 2 are terrible...
Yeah, this is
Not to put you on them, this is crazy good.
Crazy good season so far.
Imagine if it ended up being this.
They don't want to do that. It's weird because I would love to say Wheeling Caverns, but that's like such an insane play, and I don't like that would need a full rework. I think actually. So
yeah, see, I just don't think the graphical fidelity would be there for us to be doing Hellfire ramps. But I'd almost put ramparts in, because there's something about ramparts that almost reminds me of like an old and boring Ruby life pools.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, I'm just saying because you run about on a wall and then you go down a walkway to the guy at the end. It's my deep analysis.
All right.
I'm also mean. Yeah. I've taken Legion and what?
Yeah, so definitely.
Back when the game was just like, hey, everything we do is cool now.
Yeah, I'm definitely throwing End Time in.
Fair,
End Time's a good ass dungeon, and it's also like
tying.
reasonably related to the time stuff and the dragon stuff. It makes sense. They might then not even want to do it because it might confuse people a little bit because it's 2 on the nose. But the seeing like Sylvanas.
Wait, he just turned into Martin Sheen. What?
Yeah, so seeing Jaina, Tyrande, Sylvanas, obviously they'd have to fix it, so it wouldn't be random. But like the being Jaina, Sylvanas, Tyrande, Merzon, fantastic.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it again as soon as humanly possible. But what's my other one then?
You're in a hard position.
Not really.
Because like I was going to go for Mop and I was going to put Shadowpan in as one of mine, but then I felt like I would be stealing it from you. And I thought about Scarlet Halls and Monastery, and for some reason they just didn't fit for me, even though they're both really cool. I think Scarlet Halls and Monastery, they can be kept for whenever Yrel is traipsing about, stomping on people. Because, they'll, light bad, it fits.
Yeah. I'm going to have to take the only answer in my head, the only one is the very obvious one. Has to be.
You know what? That final boss on Tyrannical will make people seethe. And that's exactly why we picked Skyreach as well.
Yeah, the problem is, like, this is definitely fitting into the theme a little bit, almost too hard. Outside of Ockendun and Maw of Souls. But there's definitely, it's WAD heavy, but it is good. This is a good ass season if this actually comes to fruition, which it won't because they're not going to do End Time anytime soon. I don't think they'll do Maw of... No, they might do Maw of Souls at some point. But I feel like they won't do End Time anytime soon. In which case, I would say, I would expect, if it wasn't End Time, I'd expect something like Throne of the Tides instead. I would expect Throne of the Tides, maybe. But then that's got the optional boss, so they have to rework on how to deal with that. Okay, you know what it would? They probably wouldn't do End Time, and they probably wouldn't do Skyreach and Ockendun. They'd probably cut one of them. So I'd say we might, if we didn't have End Time and Ockendun, I would honestly expect us to have, like, one of these. Like, we would, like we might end up with Waycrest Manor because of the Drust.
It's okay. Distract him.
Yeah.
There we go. I fixed it, Matt.
Did you remove?
Oh no, where did they go?
Fantastic. Well done. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. That's
Good
our
shit.
season. That's
That's
the,
our
that's
season.
the season for we've called it here. Season 3 is this. And if we're right, you owe us a lot of money. Blizzard. Blizzard owe us money.
Another check.
Another check for the consultation because this will slap extremely hard and people love it. Except for like
Fucking
high end
perfect.
plussers who'd cry about something because they're all weirdos anyway.
They're all just gonna, they're gonna think about Skyreach and, they're gonna go mad and they're gonna think about Mob Souls and their cameras.
Yeah. What are the affixes? The affixes are
Fucked, fucker, fucking destroyed, and fuck you.
yeah. So the affixes are the fortified and tyrannical as always, and then there won't be a level 7. There'll be a what is it level
7 and 14.
47. There won't be a level 14 affix. Sorry, no, there'll be a level 7 affix, and it'll be randomly Veranoth breathes ice and freezes everyone and everything. And I mean literally everything on screen is frozen for 5 seconds. All your cooldowns and buffs tick. And it's the worst thing you've ever experienced in your life. And then the thing after that, the level 14 affix, will be your weak auras are disabled. Sorry, no. If you have the weak auras add-on installed, and any weak auras or any replacement weak auras that they try to get around the system with, your screen stops rendering anything and just black.
Oh, great.
Sorted. Yeah, even on the Skyreach stairs, yep. Everything.
Final 2 things in our doc. There's a new Call of the Crusade trailer that has been made by Hurricane. You can go and watch that on YouTube, which is where you already are.
Wow.
Incredible.
Don't go
And
just yet.
for all 3 people for whom it concerns, the AWC is back.
The Gladiators return, all 4 of them. Fantastic.
That's so brutal. It might actually be on now. 7 p.m. Central. It's on right now.
7 p.m. Central? Not on now.
Central European
Oh, right. Fuck.
time.
That's on now then, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
There you have it.
if you feel like watching some AWC, you can go watch some AWC.
How many people are watching? Oh, yes. These things don't happen in YouTube any. Oh, no, they do. 1.8K.
Nice.
Matt, we're being beaten by the AWC.
Is what it is.
Dang, it is what it is. AWC. WoW Arena is really cool. I just prefer Battlegrounds.
It's like
I
we had this whole
like
big conversation about
maps.
PvP last week, and
We did.
ultimately I ended up basically screaming into the microphone. There's some beauty in this because people love it. There is a spark of magic there. Please bother to nurture it, Blizzard. And then Blizzard decided to have another week of complete fucking silence on major issues crippling PvP. Sweet.
Wahoo.
Yep.
Wahoo.
5.3k on Twitch. Nice.
Oh,
No bad. No bad.
I think it's definitely smaller than what the MTI gets.
Oh yeah, of
Shows
course.
the scale of dungeons.
Yep.
It's like if in a way, if they didn't do that whole dungeon thing in Legion, like, yeah, lots of people
Oh, this game
we
would
may
be-
complain about, it's a time trial, which I can feel as well. And certainly it was funny in Diablo 4 in the Nightmare dungeons, which are basically like Mythic Plus, just that it's deaths instead of a timer.
Yep.
So I actually don't feel a bunch of that annoyance, whereas Greater Rifts, of course, were a very like time trial-ish speed experience.
I think there's. No, I'm just blue screened.
I'm
Yeah.
almost going to say focus and comp stomp to get the masses.
That the play is
And I
definitely
know like a lot
get
of people
people
will
in.
say,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake, don't no. But obviously, do things make PvPers happy and make that good? Yes. But to actually start getting more people into that style of gameplay, just make more boss fights like the champions of the Horde, the champions of the Alliance from Trial of the Crusader. People will love it. People did not love that fight.
I will make sure to speak to his attending physician after this. Don't worry.
Oh,
You're not wise. mate.
fantastic.
Not wise. Yeah,
My attending physician's in my head. Does that mean you're in my head?
that's the
Does that
problem.
mean you're in my head? Oh no.
Did you ever hear the Truman Show?
No.
Yeah, this is the Fakeman Show. Anyway, Yeah. No, there is something to be said for that, for the whole, okay, well, you need a two-pronged approach. Make PvP as it is good, and then make people want to get into PvP. It is the whole thing of a funnel. Currently, the bottom of the funnel, which is the PvP, is busted, and the top of the funnel, which is people get into PvP, is also busted. And they did like maybe make it work, please, in some angle. I guess there's no point having a top of a funnel if the bottom of the funnel, you know, if they're not going anywhere. It's like, all right, well, what's the example? I guess like, yeah, you're okay. We'll filter this coffee through the coffee filter. There's no mug just pouring all over the place. Is kind of what would happen if they went, here's the constant focus. Here's everyone get excited for PvP, and then they play and go, this is dog shit, I'm not playing. They kind of need to have the actual the jug underneath to catch all the players. I think that's kind of the problem at the minute. So hopefully they fix that. But they surely have a lot of problems to deal with. And there's even worse things, like the augmentation evoker clearly isn't designed for PvP.
Oh yeah.
I clearly, like, someone on the PvP team went, what are you going to do with that about us? And they were like, who the fuck let you out of the basement? Oh, you're a PvP dev. I'll get away.
Matt.
Yep.
I think something is going on. All of our streams are being bookended by the hotly anticipated Immortals of Avium.
The Immortals of Avium?
Avium, yes. Because
Do you want to stop the Everwar as a Triptarch, whatever it is?
Triarch.
Triarch?
Because Skill Up has just 7 hours ago posted gameplay impressions of it.
Did he say it's good?
I don't know.
What's the title? What's the title?
I played it.
Fuck!
Hands-on impressions.
Oh, Skill Up, you fucking...
More like Skill Up.
If that game turns out to be good, I will... That reminds me.
Australia, more like I'll strangle you.
Yeah, so
There.
now... Yeah.
Fucking...
Perfect.
I don't know what that means.
So now we're at the end of the stream, which means it's time for me to say
Yes,
whatever
we've got
whatever I want to say, whatever I feel. Two things. If Immortals of Avium is good, I'm not going to understand feasibly how, because every trailer looked hilarious and horrible.
Oh, I know what the second thing is.
The second thing is I have a public apology to make to Square Enix. Because at the end of last stream, and I forgot about this
the whole
until...
last stream, we were just completely wrong.
Yeah, so I was talking mad shit about how awful Foam Stars looked. I was like, what are Square Enix smoking? Just copy Splatoon, but make every part of it worse. And then everyone who went to Summer Game Fest got to play it hands-on and see what it was like. And a lot of them said this was the surprise winner of the whole show. This game is really fun. It is very different to Splatoon in ways that are of key importance. And the gameplay has been designed in a way that it's not copying. It is trying something new. And in the midst of it, actually made a lot of fun. It actually ended up being genuinely fun to play because of how the melee stuff worked, and like how the point is when to get a kill in Foam Stars, you cover someone in foam, then they're stunned, that makes them vulnerable, and then you like have to like melee slide into it, but you can slide on your own foam to get faster, so the area control actually matters. And I was like, that sounds fucking sick. And the gameplay mode that they played was like almost like is it Gladiators thing it's called, whatever, like someone gets 7 kills and they become like, if you kill they become the star player, and if you kill them you win, so you have to like foam, and you can use foam to defend people. Sounds great. Anyway, it seems extremely good actually.
That's a bullet sponge enemy.
Are you watching the Immortals of Avium?
I
it looks
actually do have some
bad,
updated comment.
Yep.
Immortals of Avium has a lot going for it. A Hollywood cast, Unreal Engine 5, plus fun, flashy combat.
Does it
Despite
stutter?
all this, I'm waiting for this one to really click with me.
Yes! Yes! It's a lot of okay stuff made by normal people, but the core vision doesn't come together in the end. I've reviewed it without playing it. I am that far ahead of the curve. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, dear.
I played the video, but audio just doesn't work for me anymore.
Sound?
Doesn't
Doesn't work.
It has a modern game menu.
Yeah, no,
And
we've seen the menu,
its
and the menu
minimum
looks horrible,
specs
yeah.
To run this at 1080p 60
Oh, I'm going to be sick.
is a 1080p Ryzen 3700 and an RTX 2080.
So what you're saying is I meet the minimum specs for this by a hair?
With a
At
2080
1080?
with a 2080 Ti.
This is the
Good thing you're not still in your 980. That would have been bad.
970.
970, fuck.
That would have been dire. I actually literally like I have been having so much bother with I have a 1440p 144 hertz monitor, and I've had so much bother running games recently whatsoever. And I don't even play big AAA's on PC. I play some MMOs and some indies, and I play all the AAA stuff on PS5 if I bother playing AAA, which I do because a lot of it's actually quite good recently. The Japanese stuff that is. Down with the West, that sort of thing. But a bit ideological there, but like I have so much bother. I actually bought a 1080p 144 hertz monitor there as a little late birthday gift to myself, because as you know, if you buy yourself stuff during your birthday month, you can always just say it's a birthday gift.
That's it.
So I bought myself a monitor just so I can play stuff at 1080p without my GPU screaming and crying in the background. Dire straits. But it's okay, because PS5 is actually good. And Final Fantasy 16's release version 1.03, which is not the demo version 1.01, won't have any performance issues in performance mode.
Exactly, because Square Enix are confident about it.
Square Enix are competent and confident in all of the graphics, and I'm very happy to see that whenever they announce the next expansion of Final Fantasy 14 and it comes to the graphics update, it won't be a technical bust up whatsoever, and it will actually improve scalability on lower end machines despite looking better, and I'll have better performance time. Definitely, 100%.
From the executive producers of Foam Stars.
Yeah.
Great.
It's going to be great. I might have to play FF14 on PS5 in the new expansion, maybe. I won't, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Also, I haven't done the last 4 tiers of Pandemonium, but I finally did the 6.4 MSQ, and I can see why people are not particularly excited by MSQ at the minute, but it is very, very good. It is very good, very solid. It's FF14 by numbers instead of exciting, because they're probably putting all their excitement into the next expansion, and also FF16, which could sound like a cop-out, but it definitely is like, I really like this, but it's not got me by the balls.
I'm getting the feeling that the surge, like workload-wise, to get 16 out's probably doing something here.
Well, considering that FF16's been in constant production since Heaven's Word, maybe actually Stormblood was FF16's casualty more than anything else, but there's a little bit of focus there that'd like to come back, but it's okay, because you're going to find out that FF14, and this is something that is definitely going to happen. July is the FanFest, which means a week and a bit after, maybe I think it's 2 weeks, 2 weeks after they have released FF16 to what will be resounding critical acclaim. And we already know that because everyone who plays the demo basically starts crying and pre-orders again immediately. So that's going to release. 2 weeks later, they're going to get to say the next FF14 expansion is got a graphical update. It's the perfect time to start playing because the story is ending. We're bringing a whole new chapter. And they're going to be able to say from the creators of FF16, FF14, and everyone's going to get really confused. But also they have an FF14 like free trial advertisement inside the box of FF16. And everyone's just like, it's over. It's so over. For first MMO to sell 1 billion copies. Incoming. Oh dear. But yes. It sounds like cope. It's not cope at all. It's not cope at all. If it was cope, I'd be the first to say. I actually do have profound faith in the team to make stuff. I'm not the kind of person who's like, well, this is great. Shut up. Like, it's good. It's good. Oh dear.
We do actually have a final super chat.
Wait.
Let me bring it up. Oh, hang on. Wait. John fell asleep. I fell asleep in the bath. What did I miss? Is Pudge gone?
Who's Pudge?
I don't know who Pudge is.
I'm confused.
John, was that a bath of water or like a bath of... Sam, Superin said, cheers for the constant content for me to listen to in the car and from work. Big feel. I've my like list of commute good go-tos. Which is always good because it's always like immersive, spooky stuff. It's either that or power metal. Anyhow, for some reason, I don't know, whatever it is, power metal, like I can drive to power metal, but that's its role in life. I played from early launch, quit in early cata. I remember when I quit in early cata too. Do you reckon now would be a good time to come back to the game? I mean, like, in terms of content cadence, shit happening, it's not been this good in years.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, it's like, there's not the most, like, swirling positive sensibility around it, just because I think like the story hasn't like turbo grabbed, like it's been good quality. Maybe it's like what you're saying with the FF14 MSQ. It's like good quality, but it hasn't grabbed people.
Yeah.
So I think like some of that has happened. But like the class changes are coming in thick and fast. Lots of stuff's really fun to play. New content's good. There's plenty of content. If you're catching up, there's certainly a lot to do. Like all the renowns, all the side quests. I mean, hell, you ask me to do renowns and side quests in like WoW or Diablo, I'm gonna do it in WoW. Just because,
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, the renown grind in Diablo 4 has felt more extrinsic, significantly so than WoW. Whereas WoW's as well, you just had lots of nice little quests, nice little stories, nice little bits of content. So I would say, obviously it also depends on how you wish to play. If it's just like collecting things, doing things in the world, I'd say there's absolutely tons. There's like going back, there's content you'll have missed, like Nightmare. The secrets mount, after doing like a little ARG thing, you have a maze to do, but the maze is dynamic. You'll basically have to get a pen and paper and start like charting your way through it. It's really cool. There's like deaths of Chromie. There's like just lots of cool little things like that. You can go and do a lot of the Legion content. Get your your class hall stories, get your class mounts, get your artifact weapons and their appearances. Like content wise, there's a lot. I think Blizzard doesn't do a good job of like making people feel like, oh yeah, I can just go do that Legion thing and it will be fun. Because it will be.
Yeah.
And they haven't done it. But for some reason, people, it's just, you have that mental feeling like, oh, so don't care.
It's because the whole game has been that way. Like the whole game.
Funny things, you look at FF14 and people are like, no. Heaven's Ward, good expansion. Play through the MSQ, good story.
Well, it's literally all the delineation of main versus side content. That's all it is in terms of like the framing of it.
So, I mean, I will say, yes, I think Dragonflight is better than Battle for Azeroth. I think Dragonflight is better than Shadowlands. And while not as exciting as Legion, and while it doesn't have features that have as strong of a player fantasy as Legion, I do think that its fundamental design stuff is better than Legion.
For sure. For sure.
Oh, you just got a for sure about that.
It's just less cool.
It's less cool, but it's way better.
That's the difference. But that's the thing where sometimes better doesn't matter if it's cool to people.
Yeah.
It's like, I am actually the perfect example of this, where I will always try to talk in things of, okay, well, is this good? Is this like literally good? I always try to think of like what good is, because for some reason I'm obsessed with the quality of things like video games. But the amount of times I play something that is utter dog, and I have throughout my entire life, I've played some dog shit, but I've loved every second of it because it's cool, or because it knows it's kind of bad and goes, yeah, we're kind of bad, but here's a reason to play anyway.
Harvest
I'm like, hell yeah, Harvestella is interesting because that kind of core game was a wee bit ass, but ultimately it was really cool and really good in certain ways. I think Dragonflight kind of has the opposite problem of like, right, you've got all of the mechanical things right, but where's your pizzazz? Where's the soul that I can feel? And that's the only part that's kind of missing at the minute. Which is, they can get there. It's just a matter of, do they know how to get there? Like, do they have the credentials, the key card to get through the gate into the place that's cool? Or are they just stuck being really high quality and like, just, they've got a beautiful car, but they don't have any wheels. It's like, can they find the wheel somewhere? Can they figure that out and actually go somewhere? Is the big question for a lot of, because that's the thing that's interesting to me, where you say, is it worth playing now? Is it worth coming back? And if someone's saying, is it worth coming back, especially if you've quit in Cata around that time, that feels like, I can't really say yes, because I have to assume you're a player of World of Warcraft from a different era, where I'm assuming you'll look at M+ and start crying because it's overwhelming. Not to be disparaging, but in the idea of it's just so different, and the quality of rating's so different, and the culture of the game so different, that it's like, I wouldn't even, like, it might not even feel like coming back to someone who's played that long ago. It might be picking up a new game entirely. And it's a pretty good game, all things considered. It's just, it's up against a very, very challenging, like set of opposition in terms of things you can do with your time. and it's good, but if like it doesn't matter how good something is if it doesn't make you feel like you're spending your time properly. And that's where something being cool, like, oh yeah, I'm really excited to dig into this. I'm really happy to do it. But something being good but not exciting, kind of going, this isn't bad. I could be worse. It's like, is that enough for people? Many people, maybe. I guess that's it. Where I would struggle to recommend it, but not really because it's the game's fault. It's just because it is what it is in a sense. It's good.
It's like
it's good.
Yeah, it's weird. But
definitely worth trying. Like,
yeah.
But it's not like throw yourself in, lose yourself to it. You might, but
look, they just need one good concept for the next expansion, and they need to actually just deliver in that in game, and then I think stuff will be back. It doesn't have to be as cool as Wrath or as cool as Legion. But something with that energy, I suppose.
Yep, indeed.
Ah, dear. Yes. So it is the end of the day.
It's 9:20.
It's actually rough. I go to bed at like 10:30 or 11.
That's bedtime for you. Bedtime, old man.
Yeah. Just get up at 5 a.m. Be like, okay, good. Nobody else is awake. Fantastic.
That's the perfect time to do things.
Don't get in your way. It's brilliant.
I wish no one else was awake. Problem is, everyone's awake at like 5:30, 6, and then they go to the gym, and I'm like, why
that's your problem.
Why?
You get
why is this place crowded at morning time? Please, please, just stay in bed, please. Stay in bed. Oh, there, yeah. That's just for the day, I think, then.
Yes, I became sleepy.
Yeah.
For things, over on Patreon, there's a bunch of early access videos that are up there right now, including Lore for next week. There's now 5 of the new sort of season of Lore Walking podcasts with Mage going up today as well, plus loot and things. So, yes, the update on that, just so you know, like if you're a patron or a channel member, podcast is up.
Sure is.
And, yeah, I suppose...
It might not be an incredible one, but it's a really interesting one. Did you know that Jaina nearly killed Thrall once?
Yeah.
Did you know that she's strong enough to make a tidal wave out of water elementals and almost flood Orgrimmar? Did you know mages are fucked up strong? Really.
Jane has always been teetering in the edge of war crimes.
Yeah.
Name of her novel.
No, it's not. That was Tides of War. War Crimes is not her novel.
Stupid.
That's a different one. But, yeah.
Completely different one.
Yeah, no. Mages are really interesting and cool. And we figured something out about what it is to be a mage in World of Warcraft that I don't think anyone's ever realized before. And we actually managed to... We didn't do it in the podcast, but there's a little bit of a... You know the way everything is all magic, and every time it's like, what color of magic is that? What magic is that? What magic is that? And it's like, here's some magic stuff. And it's like, but that's green magic, so we need to get the green magic specialist in to do it. Or it's like, that's the yellow magic. All right, well, phone the yellow magic boys, because we're not qualified to do yellow magic. And it's like, all right, well, this is the light expansion. This is the Fel expansion. All that kind of like talk, the void expansion. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. Back in the day, what happened was, that's some shit going on. We don't understand it because we're just like normal men. We're just innocent men. We don't know what's going on over here. We're just a load of warriors, hunters, rogues, and we're swinging swords, and that's not working. And the Kieran Tor shut up and go, we're the mages. This is us. The Kieran Tor and mages were connected. Fucking everything. It was the demons. It was necromancy. It was the Lich King. It was Kel'Thuzad was like originally Kieran Tor.
Now they come to you and ask for consultancy.
Yeah, so it's all that, like, that was the essence of a mage in Warcraft and in early World of Warcraft. A mage was to be on the esoteric side of things, on the occult.
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't mess with the occult personally, but you knew of it. I was like, what's that? That's some magic shit that this fucking idiot warrior doesn't know about. That's me. I'll sort that out. And the Kieran Tor were really cool for that. They were like if this is magical in nature, if this is otherworldly, this is from space or from another dimension, it was their shit to deal with. But now mages kind of don't have that identity anymore, and they're just like, what are you doing? Oh, you're throwing little fucking frost bolts, are you? What's that? Your ebon bolt doesn't have shadow damage anymore? Yeah, because the void's got fuck all to do with you, mate. You're just a little pissy mage, maging about, making some fucking food and water for people. Whereas in the past, it was like, help, we're all scared because there's a demon. Mage's like, all right, no worries, boys. I've got this. Let me bust out the Forbidden Tome, but I'm not allowed to read it, and I have to have the discipline to not read it. I've dreamt about this demon when they tried to invade my dreams and get the Legion through to Azeroth through me personally. I'll fuck it up, no worries. Basically, mages were cool, and now they're not. We need Khadgar back. We need Khadgar back. We need Khadgar back in a big way. We need him. We need more wizard fights. It's fine because Khadgar will fight Ashara in the Void expansion and be sick. The two greatest spellcasters on Azeroth, and Blizzard will do it via a beam battle, and I'll scream at the top of my lungs.
Fine, you've watched anime. You're used to that. You're used to profoundly disappointing things that should be good in concept.
Yeah. I think that's why I hate World of Warcraft so specifically, because the concepts are so fire, and they always, it's like at the end, the designers and the narrative people are just like, that was a really nice fire. Here's a bucket of water, and you're
whoa.
I really need to rant all that anyway. Yes. Yeah, the Shadow Wizard money gang is exactly it. The whole point of the Kirin Tor was they were the Shadow Wizard money gang, and then they tried to be the Shadow government, and then it all went wrong. Sorry, that was the Tears Guard. Tears Guard were Shadow government instead of Shadow Wizard money gang. And I think everyone talking about the Shadow Wizard money gang, people want wizards. That's what people need. They need wizards. They want magic. They want esotericism. They want people showing up going, none of this shit makes sense, but I'm cool as fuck, so let's throw some gang signs and cast spells. That's what people want to see these days. Instead, they're getting fucking boring shit. People been like,
and with that said, we both recommend Dragonflight.
And here's no one throwing gang signs and casting spells.
Well, the new Mega Dungeon's cool. Seems like it's actually cool.
Oh, it's really good, really cool, yeah. It does, they went, here's time stuff, and then they said, we have cool ideas with time stuff, let's do them. Instead of what's happened every other time in Warcraft history, they've said, we have cool ideas, and someone said, don't have time for that, finish it. This time they're like, do you want to do the cool thing? Do you want to do the time shit? Yeah. Everyone loves time stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. I'm going to go collapse in a heap. If you want to listen to Matt and Jared for an hour and 10 minutes, the podcast is now up. And yeah, that's the stuff. Maybe by next week, we'll actually know when the patch is coming out.
I mean, we already know when the patch is coming out. It's July the 11th. It's July the 11th and 12th. We know this for sure. We know this for 100% surety, guarantee. His name is on the line here. We'll probably know soon if the interviews are happening this week. They'll likely ramp up to an announcement.
Yeah, they've definitely got some stuff planned. That'll be cool. I should level some mods. Not really, just the Paladin. Yeah, level Paladin. Level Paladin, tank Mega Dungeon, die, be stressed. Fantastic.
You don't need to be stressed. Tanking's so easy. So easy.
Oh yeah, it's not Mythic Plus, don't have to worry about pathing or bullshit.
Yeah.
Good.
Not that there's any path in doing this dungeon.
Oh, thank God.
This is a straight line dungeon, most of them.
I love straight line dungeons. Not always. But I did put Maw of Souls there for a reason.
Yeah.
Turn brain off, short, get reward. Bing, bing, wahoo.
So, what kind of pathing decisions have you ever made in Skyreach or Ockenden, mate?
Forward.
Skyreach is left or right once.
Yeah, all of our dungeon picks are just W key.
Yeah, because gameplay-wise, W key works a bit better, which is frustrating because
only really because of the mechanics of go too fast.
Yeah, so what happened was, as soon as I said that, you may have noticed that like my cadence slowed, I paused for a bit. I literally had images of a Realm Reborn dungeon maps flash into my head. I was like, power through, don't say anything. Oh dear, that's dire. Dire stuff. But no, yes, all good. Very happy. Good content. Go level stuff. Go get rep. Go do the insane. You might as well. Or at least start it and then never finish it and be upset with yourself. Or go do the Netherwing and finish it in like 4 quests. Or go do any of the other rep stuff you feel like doing. It's all very good.
Oh, Blizzard are actually fixing D4. Nightmare Dungeon XP buff. Sigils now act as fast travel and immediately take you to the chosen Nightmare Dungeon. Pog.
What?
Nightmare Dungeon Sigil will be you can use it immediately after the last one has been completed. These are changed. These are planned. Oh my god, these are changes planned before season 1 starts. Renown stuff doesn't have to be repeated in seasons. Altars of Lilith don't need to be rediscovered. Have they just fixed the game? Gems are going into the materials tab. Material cap limits increased will occur before season 1. There you go, fix Diablo 4. Fantastic.
Like, that's actually it.
What the fuck?
That
happened really quick.
That was literally them going, right, compile a list of all the things the community wants. Is that list done? Yeah, right, do them. You're like, that's not how video games are made. What happened to all the narcissism? What happened to all the egotism? What happened to developers being precious over their decisions? What happened to... Oh, right, because every time that happens, the game's fucking bad. For at least Blizzard anyway. And then they're like, okay, what if we just do what everyone tells us to do? Okay, the game's good now. Thank you. That's really quick. They must have, like, budgeted time for solve problems. Next week as well.
Yeah, because they...
Next Wednesday. Yeah, man.
Because that game's fucked. Its Twitch numbers, average number, down. Overwatch 2 really seems to be struggling. Season 4 was like a bit of a backfire. Season 5 is just a flat out admission of, okay, the only thing you guys could possibly care about is Battle Pass XP. Why are you excited for Event? Because Event gives 50,000 Battle Pass XP. It was depressing. We have a video coming out, I think, on Sunday, covering all the Overwatch 2 stuff, and it is just kind of depressing. So you can see they really want to move on to Season 6. But Season 6 is just, want to play 90 minutes of, do you want 3 missions? That'll be $15. But the other side of that is they're probably highly replayable. It's probably very high quality content. It's just that, again, Overwatch, good game, good developers, etc., etc. Does it all kind of fuck up on some of the execution and delivery? Yes. There you go. That's the story. My god, it's so humid in here. Oh.
So Overwatch bad. World of Warcraft good.
Diablo 4 good.
Diablo 4 good. That's 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
I know what they say, Michael. They say 2 out of 3 and bad.
This is it now.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Never heard of that. No.
No. Who's they? Because
I don't remember. I don't remember the song.
All that I know is what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to stay away from they while you secure the bag and rip the hinges off the door and put the hinges in the fuckboy's hands.
I've been thinking about fucking Meatloaf song.
Really?
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Fucking
yeah.
hell. I've been thinking about DJ Khaled too much today. I want a Lord cover of All I Do Is Win, but like a really depressing cover.
Damn.
Anyway, with that, I've just realized that because I've made it to Friday and I've been in at least 1,000 calorie a day deficit.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, good luck.
Today, oh, no. I'm following you to Tesco.
Oh, good.
Where I will make one reasonably not ultra terrible decision and then I will go home. Tomorrow I shall lift and then we'll drink because we're doing, oh god, it's our shared birthday tomorrow. We're gonna die.
Yes, our birthdays were actually a while ago, but we haven't a chance to celebrate, so we're gonna go have a few drinks with people, and it'll be a few drinks and I'll go home and go to sleep and have a good Sunday.
Where the beer is where the pizza is.
Well, at least I'm going for dinner before, so I'll be happy enough.
Yeah, I actually think I need to just not touch any food. No, I'm not doing that. And then walking to where I know that the fucking boundary export stout that's like 8% is.
Yeah, that
would be really bad.
Yeah, I might have to like find like a 1% beer. But yes.
Fine, we'll do. I know what we'll do on the walk. On the walk home, we'll do like an RRR situation of like squats.
Perfect.
And burn all the calories off before we reach our apartments.
That's it. You can jump my shoulders and I will run the whole way from there to your house. Which that's probably like a 30-minute walk.
I can only imagine this with you basically screaming the entire way in one breath.
Oh, of course, yeah. Of course. That's right.
The final mental image of my head was that happening with you know the way that Robert Pattinson runs very fast in the Twilight movies,
Yes.
and it's just they speed him up and it looks really bad. Yeah, it was in my head for some reason, and that firmly means I need to go to Tesco, and we're not in Tesco right now. Let's go to Tesco.
That's correct. All right.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yes, thank you very much.
A fuckload of content over the
There's
weekend.
so much.
On the news channel, we've just been slapping a video every day. It's been crazy good.
That's nuts.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. And
Yes.
yeah, have a nice weekend.
I literally muted right in the middle of you saying that. So go one more time.
Go level Paladin
Sweet.
and assorted other things.